Oh, John Cena. What a stunner. As if none of this is, scripted. But nevertheless, he is an outstanding teammate, and he's here to continue his support of a great cause. It is Gabe Neitzel as our cousin sub of the day. Gabe, good morning. How are you after WrestleMania Palooza?
Oof. Big weekend, Jason. Again, if you want my full thoughts on WrestleMania, just go ahead, go to the ESPN Wisconsin app. Maybe there are other people out there who do. ESPN Wisconsin app, or go to youtube.com/@GoodKarmaWrestling. Check out our wrestling podcast that we do for GKB, Good Karma Wrestling. We did live recap shows after last night, night 2. We did a live recap show after night 1. Brian Rowitz, one of my co-hosts, was at WrestleMania. He was in Vegas. A lot of exclusive video content right now. youtube.com/@GoodKarmaWrestling.
I accidentally watched some of that.
Hey, thanks. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
Boosting the numbers.
Yeah, I got the alert that it was live, and I was trying to do something else on my phone, and I hit that instead, and I got the breakdown from you guys. You got, in all seriousness, and I do. This is sincere. If this is your thing, if you are into the professional wrestling realm, it's really good. You guys do an outstanding job. It is not my milieu, so I'm not going to be a rabid fan of it. But if you're into it, I highly, highly recommend it. You guys do a great job.
Have you ever been to a professional wrestling show?
Yes.
Okay.
State Fair Park. During the State Fair, the then WWF came to town. I took my younger brother, who was very much into it. I think I was probably 17 or 18. He was like 12 or 13. Hulk Hogan was not there. The biggest stars were, I believe the biggest star that was competing that day, was Coco Beware.
Oh, sure.
The Birdman. We did have a subscription to the wildly popular WWF magazine, so I think somewhere in some boxes at his house he's got those issues.
If you want to scratch the itch, Jason, Raw's going to be in Green Bay June 16th. I will get the tickets. I will come up. We can go to Raw if you want. That's up. I'll leave that up to you.
Wow. I appreciate the offer.
Okay.
Let me give that some thought and try and find something to do that day so I can say I'm not available. Maybe Jesse will get married again or something. In all seriousness, though, you're not here to talk wrestling. We are here to talk draft, as that is approaching fast and furious. We're going to talk to Goody today. I'm going to do a little bit of juggling with the end of the show and leave you and Jesse in charge as I make my way over to Lambeau. But most importantly, I see your Mac Fund hat. What are you doing today for those that are new fans of ESPN Wisconsin or are unfamiliar to your annual, I don't want to call it a pilgrimage, but this is an activity that you do
Yes.
to support the Mac Fund?
So this is year 7 for me. I think I missed the first year. Year 8 overall of an event called The Ringer for the Mac Fund. And there are a handful of us, 18 to 20, I believe, is the number, that are playing 100 holes of golf a week from Thursday. Usually it is the Thursday of the draft, but with it being in Green Bay this year, luckily for me, so I could still participate, it is going to be May 1st. So we've got a little bit of time here, and we have to fundraise for this. And if you're interested in helping out in the fight against childhood cancer, just text GOLF, G-O-L-F, to 800-990-3776. A link will be sent right to your phone. Myself, Greg Matzik from WTMJ, Stephen Watson, who you can see on FanDuel Sports Network with Brewers and Bucks, PGA Tour Live, and, of course, my co-host On the Tee coming up tomorrow night at 6. We're all banding together to raise funds for the Mac Fund, trying to get up to $25,000 is our goal to try to get to that number. And Jason, you guys have always been great. The afternoon show has always been great about helping and allowing me some airtime to talk about the Mac Fund. So if you can, every little bit helps. We do have some incentives. So if you donate $25 or more, you'll get entered into a raffle for pizza for a year from our friends at Palermo's Pizza. That also comes with a pizza oven, by the way. So pizza oven, pizza for a year from our friends at Palermo's Pizza and some other Palermo swag. If you're in the Milwaukee area, Or even if you want to, make the drive in from Madison, go to X Golf in Brookfield, where right now we are raffling off a new tailor-made driver. So $20 gets you into that drawing, and that if you want to, spend $60 and get yourself 3 raffle tickets, you can do that. Shout out to my guy Mike Meisen out at X Golf in Brookfield. So you can go check that out. We've got a lot of different cool things going on, and we've also got a big one that could potentially be announced later this week that I'm also very excited about.
So you did your show this morning, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're doing this wildly popular 3-hour program.
Yes.
And then are you taking over every show, or did
Nope.
I noticed Tausch jumped at the opportunity because we oftentimes just have you on as a guest.
Yes, correct. But Tausch just happened to be off today. I am going to be at some point later either this week or next week. It's tough because we have so many things going on with the draft. But I will be joining KBN for an extended period because they've been, those guys on the afternoon show, whether it was the old Scalzo and Brush show, Jason, or whether it's those guys, like they just recently, I don't know if you talked to them about it, but Kyle and Ben just got Brazilian bikini waxes done. Because we raised over $1,000 last year. A partner donated $1,000 for that to happen. Those guys are always great with coming up with wild things. Josh DiMaggio, who's our producer, used to be the Scalzo and Bruss producer, has a tattoo of Homer on his calf.
Yeah.
Because Homer donated $1,000 to the Mac Fund for Josh to get a tattoo of Homer on his calf. So, Jesse, I don't know, any tattoos you're looking forward to getting to? Can we throw a number out there?
Nah, I don't want to
tattoo a Tausch?
I'm not quite the tattoo aficionado that Josh is, but, we can talk. If there's anything bowling related that I could get involved with, that tends to be more my lane.
A tattoo?
Your lane. Good one.
A tattoo of the guy yelling, "Who do you think you are? I am"?
I'm not bad, but
I think you should put that on your back in like an entire mural.
Who do you think you are? I am.
With the pointing and everything. But change Pete Weber's face to Jesse's face. All right, we will, as much as I would love to talk about Jesse's potential tattoos and wrestling, we do need to talk about the draft. It is here. How much am I going to see of you this week as we get underway? Wednesday is kind of the soft launch, but then obviously Thursday is the first round, Friday the second and third rounds, and then Saturday rounds 4 through 7.
So I'm going to be up there all day Thursday and Friday. I'm taking the fan bus up with Balaga so I can make sure that he is going to be there on Thursday. So midday Thursday, we're going to be up there with the fan bus. I'll be a part of our draft coverage on Thursday night, Friday night. We're doing Jen, Gabe, and Chewy live from the trio Friday morning. So feel free to swing by the houses if you'd like for Jason Wilde live and in person. If you want to change your time, we can certainly negotiate that. But I'm going to be up there, Jason. I'm excited. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to wander around and see all the different things going on at Lambeau. But this is a huge once in a lifetime event. And I am really curious to see how this all comes together.
So I'm glad you used the word curious. And our buddy Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com is going to join us at 9:30. And he had expressed, in fact, I think you hear him express those reservations in a very brief snippet during Jesse Johnny Montage's open for today's show. I am very curious now. I've reached the curious stage of how Green Bay is going to look both in person in terms of the throngs of people and the congestion and figuring out how to get in and out of Lambeau for those of us that are just going to cover the actual Packers selections as opposed to the carnival atmosphere outside, and also how it's going to play on TV. And I know Rob had expressed some concern about us looking, like a podunk small town. I don't have those concerns anymore. I think TV will figure out a way to make us look great. But I am curious by the estimates of how many people are going to be here and the fact that it's basically 1/3 over the 3 days of what they had in Detroit. And Craig Karmazin, our founder and CEO, who hosts Sunday Karma on Sundays, was talking yesterday when I was on, And he's been to Vegas for the draft, and New York for the draft, and Cleveland for the draft. He said Detroit was so crowded that he just went back to his hotel and watched it on television. So I don't think we're going to have that problem. But when you say the word curious, what kind of preconceived notions do you go into this week with for how it will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
I am curious how it's going to look with all the people, Jason, just because I think about some of the other ones that they, the big drone shot or blimp shot, however they're taking the kind of overarching. I think of Nashville and how they had all those people down Broadway. Like, it was just packed, and it looked like so many different people, looked like a fun event. But Green Bay, especially around Lambeau Field, just doesn't have that type of space. Like, I've seen the map of how it's all going to look, and over by the Hudson Center and Rush Center is where the stage is going to be, and it all kind of, flows back towards Titletown from there. But it's not like you're going to have this big, just big old roadway filled up with people. I'm curious to see how that looks. I'm curious to see, and this was something I was curious about when we had the U.S. Open here, just because it was a big event. When we initially had, and they figured it out for the number of PGAs they had up at Whistling Straits, because that was also, you can only come from so many directions because the lake is right there. So how are we getting people in and out? How are people going to actually get there? Because I think about Lambeau on a game day, Jason, and they have, the parking lot at Lambeau isn't particularly big for an NFL stadium.
It is not.
But it still holds, a handful of people. That's not going to be available at all. So if we're expecting more people than on a game day, where are all these people parking? How are they getting up? And especially with Oneida Street shut down, because that's where the stage
Lombardi
is.
Avenue.
And
now
Lombardi
shut
Avenue
down
shut down.
Yep.
So how are all these people? Like, the flow of everything to get people where they need to go on time. That's what I'm curious to see, how the flow of traffic and where all these people end up parking and going and things like that. Like, some of the logistical things like that is something I'm curious about.
Well, we will. I will have a better idea when I head over to Lambeau Field and just at least see the lay of the land. I'll be honest, I have not had cause to go there over the last several days, so I have not seen where things currently stand, but I am going to see it when I go over to Lambeau today. So I'm curious to see that. We'll talk more about the upcoming draft.
Where do you go? Are you just going to park at the Trio? Like, how much of that is blocked off where you can normally park? Because again, you've got to go for Goody's press conference today.
Yeah, so today we're parking in lot 9 or 10. And again, for those of you that have season tickets or have been to Green Bay, you know that Lambeau is essentially squared off by Ridge Road to the west, Oneida Street to the east, and Lombardi to the north. And so Lombardi and Oneida are closed. I'm going to come in on Ridge Road and park in there. But I want to, after we get done with Goody and look, on top of all the other stuff that's going on, the Packers also have major renovations going on inside Lambeau Field. They renovated the home locker room. They're renovating the equipment room and the meeting room. There is no media auditorium right now. I don't know where we're even talking to Goody today. And as I joked with somebody who works in the building, hey, great timing. You got the draft coming to Green Bay. Why not start a major construction project at the same time? But as I've mentioned, they are the players who are in for off-season workouts. We talked to Tucker Kraft. He was working out, before he left for the tailgate tour. They're using that third locker room that they built for soccer games and other events that they have. So I can't get to my office. So I've had no reason to go over there. Today will be the first time. So I'm eager to get a look at just the lay of the land, but I don't know what it's going to look like on Thursday. If you are coming up from Milwaukee or Madison or Beaver Dam or wherever you're listening to us right now, I will try and get you a scouting report, because it is going to be, I'm guessing, far more overwhelming than game days, when it was pretty simple and you just had your person that you parked in their yard or whatever it might be. So we'll talk to Rob Demovsky coming up at the bottom of the hour, get his feel for the lay of the land. He also went to the NFL meetings. He talked to Goody there. We'll all talk to Goody today at noon. We'll talk about that. We've got Gabe Neitzel on behalf of The Ringer as a fundraiser for the MAC Fund, Midwest Athletes Against Childhood Cancer, in as our cousin sub of the day. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. Yes, you heard me correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Lugstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for your chance to win.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's number one pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply and 4/30/2025.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV.
Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back from around the way. It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you.
Gabe Neitzel is our cousin sub of the day on Wilde and Tausch as he supports the MAC Fund with The Ringer. Now, there's golf involved with this too, right? You actually play golf too?
Play 100 holes of golf, which is the event. So again, there's 18 or 20 of us that play and raise funds for this. So if you want to donate something the way Chewy did, Chewy pledged $20 per birdie that I make throughout the course of the 100 holes. You can do something like that. You don't have to donate now. So
what's that going to cost him?
Probably around $200.
You get 10 birdies?
Yeah, 10 birdies. 10 birdies in 100 holes. That's usually the goal. Try to get to double digits.
Okay. And then, when are you playing golf?
May 1st. So a week from Thursday, a week after the draft this year, at the Bog Golf Course. And the Bog donates the golf course for the day to help out the MAC Fund. So like I said, this is my 7th year. I think this is year 8. And there's only 18 or 20 of us that do this every year, and we're up over $1 million raised for the MAC Fund and the fight against childhood cancer in this event alone. So we've had a lot of really generous people, and I know that's a big number, Jason, but every little bit counts. So even if you can't donate the $25, that gets you an entry into pizza for a year drawing courtesy of Palermo's, like $1, $5. It's always one of my goals every year to show off the platform and reach we have at Good Karma Brands, whether it's TMJ, whether it's here. And I want to have the most donations out of anybody. So anybody that can even just contribute $1, $5, $10, every little bit helps. You never know when that last little bit is what pushes over. So then the MAC Fund can fund a grant to get the research for a number of different childhood cancers.
All right, we need to get ready for Goody, and while I don't like to crowdsource my responsibilities, I am genuinely curious what people want us to ask Goody today. Now, again, I know there are members of the fan base that want confrontational, hey, why have all your draft picks in the first round pretty much sucked? That's not what we're looking for here. The goal here, and I used to enjoy this challenge with Ted Thompson, was how do you get him to give us some real information? And while Goody is different than Ted, he's a lot like Ted. And so it is a challenge. I am eager to talk to him today. I know Rob Demovsky will be there as well. We will discuss our plan of attack and the upcoming draft here in Green Bay, which kicks off on Thursday with Rob Demovsky of ESPN. He will join us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft, live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick,
it all begins with round 1, Thursday, presented by ZipRecruiter, GNC, and American Family Insurance.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at princetonclub.net.
We shopped at Chalmers because my husband wanted to get me a larger diamond in my engagement ring.
The folks at Chalmers said, well, we could just make it like this and we could do these things. Really just basically decided that there wasn't any place else we wanted to shop.
And not only did they create this new engagement ring for me with this gorgeous center stone, they also rehabbed this other ring, and I am beyond pleased.
Her favorite thing to do now is to walk around and show her hands and have people comment on it.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Greg Scalzo here for Buckin' Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buckin' Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buckin' Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buckin' Honeys.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on the Packers. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's time for spring savings at Metro Kia Madison this month. Drive away in the 2025 Kia K4 with financing as low as 2.9% for 48 months, $22.09 cost per thousand borrowed. Or you can upgrade to the luxurious 2025 Kia Sportage with rates as low as 1.9% for 60 months, $17.48 cost per thousand. Hurry, these offers end April 30th. Head to Metro Kia Madison or visit metrokiamadison.com today.
The NFL Draft.
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
Live from historic Lambeau Field.
With the first pick.
From the first pick to mystery relevant.
Brock Purdy, a quarterback.
It all begins Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio.
I'm not even sure the last time I saw this guy in person, but I look forward to seeing him today. You read him every time you get the chance on ESPN.com and ESPNWisconsin.com. You see him on Sports Center and Get Up and NFL Live, and you hear him across ESPN Wisconsin as well. It is Rob Demovsky on Wilde and Tausch. Rob, good morning. How are you? There he is. Hi.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Jesse, what'd you do?
I might have messed something up here.
I hear myself echoing in my ear.
I hear it, too. We got Gabe.
I mean, Rob looks great. I want to add that Rob looks great. I just want to say that. It's been a while since we've seen Rob, because we have Rob on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy all throughout the football season, so it's been a while since I've seen our buddy Rob as well.
I think we got him now. I messed it up.
Check
Great
1, 2.
stall,
Check, check. Rob, good morning. Have you put together your questions for Brian Gutekunst yet?
So, Jason, I got to be honest. Nothing's really changed since we talked to him, or I talked to him last at the owners' meetings. Like, literally nothing has happened. So I'm not sure why I'm going today, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, one will be to figure out how the heck we're going to get in and out of the building as the draft approaches. All right, I want to get into a little bit of the draft logistics, but before we go any further, I don't think there has been a longer drawn-out, beyond the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers sagas, of a player's impending departure from Green Bay than the Jair Alexander saga. And Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. You have a complete vendetta. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I've ever heard a general manager say what Goody did to you at the NFL meetings, which was, if he's not going to be on the roster and helping us win games, then we want to get something for him because we've invested a lot in him.
Correct.
Usually when you're talking about the hypothetical of a guy not being on your team, all you say is he's on our roster right now.
Right.
As or, you stood
yeah,
there
we'd like,
real...
yeah, or we'd like to keep everybody. That's the standard.
Right.
Goody
what
line,
did you
right?
think when you heard that out of Goody's mouth?
It just further confirmed, not that I needed another confirmation, that they would rather not have him on their team. Like they in a perfect world, and I think they intend to operate in a perfect world, Jair Alexander is not on the team when the 2025 season starts. And I guess your definition of when it starts could be the start of the offseason program, which is today, virtually. Or is it the mandatory mini camp? Is it training camp? Is it week one? It's such an unusual situation for this reason, Jason, from a contractual standpoint. Very rarely do you have a veteran player who doesn't have any offseason guaranteed money. Like there was no March roster bonus that would have forced them to make a decision. Like they don't owe this guy a dime guaranteed until whoever they're playing week one. Like that's it. There is an offseason workout bonus. I would assume that he will not participate, in the offseason program. But this is as long and drawn out a process for a guy who I would say with 99.5% certainty is probably not going to be on their team.
Rob, when you say they don't want him, obviously I think that includes Goody in the front office, but does that also include Matt LaFleur and the coaching staff?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, this is an organizational feeling. The frustration level has come to the point where, they just don't want to not know from week to week whether a guy's going to play. It's not unlike the David Bakhtiari situation. Dave's injury was seriously severe. Jair's maybe not as severe, but if they could get an assurance that Jair Alexander is going to play 12 or 13 games this year, I think they would take him back. They just do not and cannot be in a position where they don't know. They're using a roster spot. They're giving practice reps. They're spending money on a guy that they don't know how many games he's going to play. We don't know how many games anybody's going to play, but there's history here, and you just can't continually operate that way and expect to be successful.
The weird thing about it, though, is that he's 28 years old, and there are coaches, and I'm sure Goody believes this too, even though he clearly has made up his mind on this. The guy can still play when he plays, and that's the problem here, right? So when you look at this, have you garnered anything from John Thornton or from Jair's side of this in terms of, like, if I'm him, I don't want to be traded. I'm not going to adjust my contract. I want to be able to go choose wherever I want to go. So has there been, Goody said to you at the NFL meetings, we're talking on a weekly basis. What does that conversation consist of?
Yeah, probably not much, to be honest. Probably, we've heard from some teams. We haven't heard from some teams, something like that. But I can tell you from talking to people on the Jair side of things is that he will not take a pay cut. The Packers have not offered a pay cut, at least at last time I inquired a week or so ago, or maybe a little more than that. They have not offered a pay cut, and even if they did, he would not take it. There's frustration on Jair's part, I'm sure, about how they would like to be able to pursue other opportunities, right? He wants to get on with this, and the hard thing for him is what he's supposed to make. Is it about $17.5 million this year? If they cut him, he's not making that, right? Like no one signing him. He's going to lose money in this proposition one way or another. So it's a tough situation for everyone.
Why won't Goody just admit that they're not going to get a trade piece for him and just cut him? Because is there any? Because I like the only reason to hold on to this guy for this long is like, hey, you couldn't play for us, so now out of spite, I'm going to hold on to you. Like I don't think that's it, Jay. I don't think that's it. But like that's the only thing I can make sense in my head.
Right. I think, Gabe, it's a good question. You might as well wait till the draft, like through the draft, right? Maybe somebody gives
at this point.
Maybe somebody doesn't get a guy that they wanted, doesn't get a corner. But come Monday, a week from today, if he's still on your roster, I would think that at that point there has to be some sort of a resolution.
Well, it has been a long, protracted saga from the moment that he came into the locker room on cleanout day, was going to talk, and then publicly announced that he was not going to talk.
Right. I'm sure the first two questions for Goody, which would set the tone and I say that sarcastically, would be, why is Jair Alexander on your roster, and why haven't you drafted a receiver in the first round? Like, you want to talk about a couple questions asked? Let's start it off that way and see where things go.
Yeah,
well, honestly, when you brought up, like, oh, what do you want to ask Goody? I've thought about this. I would want to ask Goody, what is it about this wide receiver class that you decided you wanted to bring 6 guys in for 4 meetings? Because, again, if you have to ask it the right way, and clearly if you ask it the way Rob proposed it, you're not getting a good answer. Right. But the fact that we know the Packers like to bring in guys who they're eventually going to draft. They want to get more information. That's what they use these 30 visits for. And the fact they've brought in 6, I think that says a lot, including Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden, and Emeka Ibuka, who are 3 of the top guys at that position in this draft class.
And it sure sounds like McMillan, Gabe, is not going to be there at 23.
Correct.
I went through with a personnel person about 6 or 7 days. It was mid last week on just where he thought the whole first round was going to fall from about. I think we started around 12 or 13 to where the Packers went, and I mean McMillan could go. He could go to Dallas at 23 or at 12. I mean, I just don't see how he gets to 23. I do think that if he were to happen to be there at 23, the streak would end. I really believe that they would pick him from what I was told, but I just don't think that's realistic. As for the other guys, I don't know if that, like, I'll just give you a little hint. 2 of those guys that you mentioned were on the board for me when we did our ESPN NFL Nation mock draft TV show, which will air tomorrow night. And I did not pick either one of them because I just don't think they're going to take a receiver in the first round unless it's McMillan.
In fairness to our listeners, you've never gotten that pick right in your entire ESPN career, correct?
I was reminded, though, that last year or 2 years ago on our WBAY show, which we see, the problem with the ESPN show is we have to do the draft on Friday and tape the show over the weekend. So there's intel comes out. On the WBAY show 2 years ago, I did get Lucas Van Ness correct on that show. So I'm going to defend one for 13 or whatever.
When you're a TV star like Rob, you get multiple opportunities at this. You're on multiple shows across all these different places.
That's right. And here's the thing too is I think I know what I think they want in the pick, but the problem was, and just like in the real draft, the guy I think they're going to take was gone in our real draft, but I think in the real draft he might be there. So like Jason has the opportunity to either not do a mock draft where it goes the whole way, or if he does, he can manipulate it exactly so that the guy he wants is going to be there. So in my defense, I'm at the mercy of, in this case, 22 other idiots in front of me who may or may not know what the hell their team's going to do. And well, let me say that. Let me say this. I'll take that back. There's 22 in front of me. There's 20 idiots and Todd Archer with the Cowboys who knows what he's doing. No, I'm totally. I love all my ESPN colleagues.
We love Todd Archer, although I think he probably made you think the Packers were going to get that Cowboys defensive lineman who ended up being franchise tagged and extended by the Cowboys. All right,
it was actually not Archer, but it was someone with the Cowboys organization who pointed that out.
I wonder who that
my
could be.
My sources aren't media people.
So let's talk a little bit about the logistics of the draft.
I've been over
Jesse
there a few
made
times in the last week.
You what?
I've been over there like 3 times in the last week.
And how's it look? Because I have not been over there. This will be the first time I've been over there. Yeah. What's it look like to you?
It looks like it's going to be hard to get in. That's for sure. I was over there about 10 days ago. I'm working on a story that I think is going to run tomorrow. Well, I've already worked on it. It's done. But on just how this NFL's smallest city is going to host their second biggest event, right? The first biggest being the Super Bowl. And I ended up knocking on the door of the 2 people who live closest to the stage. There's 2 houses on the corner of Lombardi and Oneida. They're both duplexes. And just by happenstance, both people, they live on one side and rent out the other side. And on the northwest corner of the street, that woman who rented out her half of the duplex got $32,000 for 4 nights, and the woman across the street can't give hers away. So it's still available for those people looking for a close spot to the stage. And I say that because I don't know if it's going to be quite as crazy as we thought it was going to be. There's plenty of hotel rooms. I mean, if you go to like Marriott.com or Holiday Inn or Hilton, the actual websites of the hotels, you won't find rooms. But if you go to the secondary market, the travel sites, the Expedias, whatever, if that even still exists, there's plenty of rooms available and at pretty reasonable prices. I do think that it's a small area for, if they get as many people as they think, it's a pretty small area to put a lot of people in. Look, I mean, I think I'm not going to say it was overhyped and they're not going to get as many people as they thought, but the closer we get to it, the more I'm wondering if maybe it's not going to be completely chaotic. Like I don't think it quite will be out of control.
So has your concern, because we heard it in the montage that Jesse did, has your concern about us looking like small town podunk, one stoplight, one controlled traffic signal, whatever that line Barry used in his Washington Post story, has your concern been allayed and now it's more just the logistics?
Yeah, I talked to at the NFL meetings. I talked to Peter O'Reilly, who's basically the head of NFL events. Like he's in charge of the Super Bowls and this kind of thing. And I said that to him. I go, look, I'm going to just say this: the perception of Green Bay is that it's a bunch of small town people who don't belong in the NFL. And I think if I said the draft goes poorly, that's not going to help the reputation. And he looked at me and he said it will go smooth. No one will think that. I really do believe that there are the right people in charge. For example, I was talking to somebody over there who is part of like logistics or something. I don't know exactly what they do. That seems like when you say you're a consultant, what do you really do? But this was a logistics person, and he said he had just worked his 27th Super Bowl for the NFL. Like they have people in there that know what they're doing. Right. It's that not necessarily just, Joe from, Henry's garage filling in and setting up stages. And, it seems like it's, I think it's going to be okay. Who knows what the weather's going to be like though, Jace? Like, I mean, I remember years back when the draft was just a 2-day event and walking into Lambeau Field on that Saturday and there being snow flurries, right? Like, nothing's out of the question. I played 4 rounds of golf last week, and it was only really warm for one of them, and the other 3 that if it wasn't April, I wouldn't be playing, but I was just itching to play. So it's not been great up here, as you know.
How is the golf game? Pretty good. 4 times in 1 week, Rob. I am impressed. That a boy. Yeah. With the draft approaching.
Yeah, 4 days in a row. And I hope my bosses aren't listening, but not bad.
Nobody's listening anyway.
I heard you, Gabe. I heard you talking about your 100 holes, 10. Your goal is 10 birdies.
Yeah.
I think I was. Let's see. I was 2, 3. I was 6 birdies in 4 rounds. It was probably a little bit off pace for that.
Still pretty good.
Right?
It's pretty close. Pretty close. One more birdie and you're right there.
6 birdies in 72 holes. That's probably not enough.
Yeah, and then you get hot for a little bit and you make a couple birdies in a row and just that deficit disappears like that.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, a couple more things before we let you go, and then I'll see you over at Lambeau in a little while. One, Tausch has made the comment, and it's also in the montage that Jesse did such a good job on, about how this is a crucial year and seats are going to get warm if there's not significant steps forward.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how different this offseason has felt. They win their last 3 regular season games. They beat the Cowboys, and they have the 49ers on the ropes a year ago. This year, they lose their last 3 games, including the playoff game. Do you get the sense, I keep talking about what a pivotal year it is for Goody, LaFleur, Love, Lucas Van Ness, so many people. How do you what's your 30,000-foot view of where they're headed in 25?
Well, throw in the fact, Jason, that there'll be a new man in charge of the team, Ed Policy, Ed's worked there for 12 years, and presumably he, is on board with a lot of things. that Mark Murphy did, but we don't know if Ed thinks these guys are the right people. Like, I mean, we don't know that. I assume that he does, but if the season doesn't go right and Ed Policy's in his first year as president, does he feel like he has to do something? I mean, I think it's just a question at this point. I don't think it's necessarily a fear or an expectation that that might happen. But it was interesting. I wrote this last week, I think it was, maybe the week before after the owners' meetings, about how LaFleur didn't necessarily want to lose coaches from his staff, but he was kind of looking forward to the fact that if Steno does get the offensive coordinator job that he interviewed for in, what was it, Seattle and somewhere else, I can't remember, Jacksonville, maybe Houston, it does give him a chance to bring in some new ideas and some fresh ideas, because look, we've seen this is going to be year 7. Is that right? Under LaFleur, if my math is right.
Correct.
This is sort of the time that, you can get a little stale in your thing. You can't just keep running the same offense that you've run every year. Eventually people catch up to it. And we saw that, under previous coaching staffs, where around this point, if you don't get, creative, and you're just relying on the same, concepts and your players just to be better, that can have a negative impact. So, I do think that there is a little bit of that to watch for. The interesting thing to me, and you talk about compare the last 2 seasons, I mean, I totally realize how they ended this season versus how they ended it 2 years ago, but they won more games. I mean, they won more games in 2024 than they did in 2023. Their quarterback was hurt for half the year, if not more. They had a new defense, all that, winning the game, 11 games or whatever it was, all that. It's a little surprising that there is this sort of, feeling of they better get something done. And I feel it too. I'm not saying it's unwarranted, but it is a little bit unusual, I think.
Well, when you go 1-5 in your division and 0-6 against the 3 really good teams in the NFC, there is that perception. All right, I don't want you to give away the farm of who you're going to select on the ESPN draft.
Jason doesn't, but I do. Rob.
No.
So feel free.
Save your content. But who's on your big board,
What
Mel?
does it rhyme with?
It rhymes with I'll give you the position. I'll put you this way.
All right.
It rhymes with ledge.
Yeah.
So,
I see you. You and Goody. I see you and Goody being smitten. You're quite the athlete yourself. You have 2 sons who are remarkable athletes. I see you as kind of a Shamar Stewart guy. 9.99 RAS.
4.5 career sacks. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I was looking at those guys, and I talked to this personnel person, and we were going through that kind of stuff, and he was like, Stewart's got all the measurables. He's got this, he's got that, but boy, there's just not much production there. It said, sounds like a perfect Packers pick.
I wish that wasn't so true. I wish that wasn't so true.
That's not, that wouldn't be, if I were picking for the Packers, and I do this, I think there's a misconception about mock drafts. I do it trying to predict who the Packers would take, not who I would take, right? No one cares. No one cares what me and this little tiny notebook full of notes thinks of these guys, right? No one cares about that. So I'm trying to do, what the Packers would do. And I can tell you this, that there is a pass rusher other than Stewart, and it's not one of the top 2 guys that they would prefer before Shamar Stewart. I don't know. And it's probably who I'll pick for my selection on the WBAY special. But unfortunately, that player was gone in our ESPN NFL Nation mock draft. So I probably just basically told you, who I'm picking based on all that context. But I think edge is such a. They've talked so much about trying to increase this pass rush with 4 and not have to do a bunch of blitzing. The one position that I don't really have a great feel of is corner. I feel like I got a pretty good handle on the receivers. I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on the edge guys and even some of the interior defensive linemen. I don't know what the Packers think of the corners. That has been hard for whatever reason to discern. And, quite frankly, didn't spend a whole lot of time talking to the personnel people about corners because a lot of people, Jason, real quick, I'm sure when you talk to scouts over the years, the teams try to do their own mock drafts, right? They try to figure out who's going to be available. And there weren't a lot of corners off the board. In fact, let's see if we went through the scouts that I've talked to basically said that before the Packers would pick, there'll be 3 quarterbacks gone, 5 offensive linemen gone, 3 defensive tackles gone, 2 running backs gone, a corner, an inside linebacker, a safety, and a tight end. So however many that is, 3, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and that's not counting any of the edge rushers, right? So if there's 5 edge rushers that have first round, possibilities, they'll have their choice of 1 or 2 of those. So again, this is just putting it together from what the personnel people are trying to do with their own mock draft. So take that for what it's worth.
Rob, I'll see you at Lambeau in a little bit. We appreciate you.
Yeah, by the way, the media auditorium, as far as I understand, is still operational.
Good.
Yeah. The problem is that's the only thing we have access to for the 19 hours that we're going to be at Lambeau Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're all going to be stuck in that one smelly room listening to Joe Radio Guy, and not that you guys are this because you're not doing, the Packers are on the clock here in about 10 minutes, and we'll see what they do at pick 175. But anyway, that's the draft room for us. And by the way, when you come into Lambeau, because I drove by yesterday, it looks like for us, we go down Ridge Road coming in from the backside, and then you turn right into lot 9 or 10 and park there. Now from there, I don't know how the heck we get into the stadium, but that was my scouting.
Start climbing walls.
All I know is I was offered the luxurious option of doing the show from my car in the parking lot today if I wanted to get there early. So that was my option. All right, Rob, we'll see you soon, buddy. Thank you.
All right, see you.
That is the magnificent Rob Demovsky. He and I and many others will be asking Brian Gutekunst a series of questions today at noon. We'll get to that, and we'll talk a little bit about what needs to be asked of the Packers GM coming up next after we take another break, and we will get back to Gabe Neitzel as our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson, and we're talking draft this week. And when we're talking draft, we're also talking about Pepsi and Pepsi Zero Sugar, proud partners of the NFL and the NFL Draft. Pepsi is so proud of Pepsi Zero Sugar because it has all the same great taste of a regular Pepsi with 0 sugary and 0 calories. So that means it is perfect as a tailgate mixer. If you're going to be at the draft this week, check out the NFL Experience in Titletown, and you can find the return of the Pepsi Challenge to see how great Pepsi Zero Sugar is. Pepsi also a proud partner in Madison of Wisconsin Badgers Athletics, and you know that they're cheering on Wisconsin's Hunter Wohler as he gets ready to hear his name called at the NFL Draft as well. Pepsi, proud partner of the NFL and the NFL Draft and of Wilde and Tausch here on 100.5 ESPN.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Better now than later. Wisconsin football losing players to the portal, including highly touted receiver Mark Hamper and tight end Tanner Koziel. Luke Fickell joining Wilde and Tausch, sharing his forward-thinking approach.
I don't want to find out on August 28th or September, whatever, in Tuscaloosa, that they don't really love what it is that they're doing. They aren't committed to their teammates. This is a little bit too much for them. I guess it's better that you find that out now so that you can continue to develop the people that you know deep down inside have it. They just haven't had the opportunity to be able to show it yet.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Bandana? Check. Boots? Check. Gloves? Check. As a motorcycle rider in Wisconsin, you may go to great lengths to protect your image. Just be sure you're protecting yourself, too. Wear a Department of Transportation-approved helmet. Perform safety checks on your motorcycle. Know the traffic laws and don't take risks. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
Oh, can't show you in there.
Why not?
That's the bathroom. We need a new shower bad.
Think your shower is one of the ugliest in Wisconsin? Upload your photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contest for a chance to win a free shower remodel. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including design consultation, demolition, and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Luxstone shower. goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this, just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Thanks as always to Rob Demovsky. Great to catch up with him. All right, Gabe, because you are a Packers fan, the question I have after listening to Rob, do you feel better, worse, or the same as the draft approaches?
I feel much better. I think I've arrived at a point where I am, as a fan, I think I'm okay with just about anyone other than Shamar Stewart. But I can't do it again, Jason. I can't do another edge rusher who has all these great measurables but did jack squat in college. And the sad part is he had less production than Lucas Van Ness. He had less production in college than Rashawn Gary. And those guys were supposed to be projects. And they haven't come to fruition. Like, watching Lucas Van Ness get blocked one-on-one by tight ends last season, woof. But I don't want somebody who has these measurables that look good, but ultimately isn't a great football player. And I don't know, maybe Shamar Stewart develops into a great football player. But right now, he's an athlete trying to play football, and the Packers would have to develop him, and I don't want to deal with that anymore.
God, I hope it's Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, I know you do.
I just want to come on the show when you're the host and just discuss your exasperation. Well, hey, they're dreaming fearlessly as they get ready for the draft. They better ensure carefully that the guy they select actually can play. And just like a great team needs great protection, American Family Insurance knows your family needs it too. That's why they make life better by protecting your dreams with the right home and auto policies. So insure carefully, dream fearlessly, American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin. The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Neitzel kicks off in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. Happy Draft Week. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. The NFL Draft kicks off Thursday night in Green Bay. The sports world will be watching as Green Bay hosts perhaps its largest event ever, the 2025 NFL Draft. Plenty to get you set all day long here on 100.5 ESPN, really all week long, including Wilde and Tausch until noon. And each day this week, a special expanded show from noon to 2 locally, ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week with Alex Strofe live from the shadows of Lambeau Field in Green Bay. That's all week long as we count down to kickoff the 2025 NFL Draft right here on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. NBA, the Bucks fell in Game 1 of their Eastern Conference playoff series to the Indiana Pacers Saturday afternoon. Game 2 is tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tip time. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:30 here on Madison's Home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN. Baseball, the Brewers out west for the first of 4, visiting the Giants tonight, 8:45 first pitch.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour begins now with Gabe Neitzel in as our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. All right, we short shrifted it a little bit because we wanted to get to Rob and all of his insights, and we'll hear a little bit and read a little bit of what Adam Schefter, who obviously joins your show, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy once a week, has as far as his info heading into the draft. But I don't know what we're going to get out of Goody today. Maybe a lot, probably not. For you, what do you want me to try and discern from him today? What questions do you think will get the answers we seek?
So there were two things that I was thinking about draft related. Because, and I'm sure, again, you guys are probably going to ask some, questions related to Jair. But I start with the wide receiver class, and again, what is it about this wide receiver class that you felt you needed to bring in 6 different receivers for your, the visits that you're allowed? Something along those lines. Because he's on the record saying, I think we've got enough in the wide receiver room. Based on his actions of bringing in this many receivers, I would say that doesn't hold up. But you can't just sit there and go, well, you said this. Why did you bring in these 6 receivers? Mm-hmm. I would say you'd have to ask it along the lines of, hey, what is it about this class that you wanted to see these 6 receivers? And again, going back to the Shamar Stewart thing, I would say when you are evaluating a prospect, how much do you factor in their athleticism versus their college production? Like, what's the ratio that you're kind of looking for in an ideal prospect?
Right. Yeah, I do want to get to, because if you look at RAS numbers over the years with Brian Gutekunst, it is a major factor in the selections that he makes. You mentioned Rashawn Gary. He was a 9.95. I mean, his production especially last year as he moved back to having his hand on the ground, I thought was curious because the whole idea when they drafted him out of Michigan was, well, this guy's going to have to make the conversion from playing with his hand on the ground to being a stand-up outside linebacker. He goes back to being a hand-on-the-ground guy, and then we hear I don't want to call it an excuse, but explanation of, well, it's a transition to the new system. Okay, so he's transitioned out of a 4-3 into a 3-4, played in a 3-4, been occasionally, somewhat frequently productive. Now goes back to a 4-3, and it doesn't. Now he's got another grace period.
And nobody was tamping down those expectations, Jason, when he was running roughshod and early in training camp. All we heard was how great Rashawn Gary was going to look and how much of a game wrecker he was going to be in this new defense that obviously did not come to fruition.
So I am curious, and I want to get at that in a way that's smart and yields an answer. But that was the thing that was on top of my list. Is, we've seen some of the RAS scores for guys that you've drafted in the past. Can you help us understand how do you balance that with production and film review and see what he says to that?
Because I understand wanting the athleticism, especially at that position, Jason. Sure. When you take a look at the guys that have had a lot of success, clearly the athleticism is a part of it. But it's obviously based on the RAS scores for Rashawn Gary, based on the RAS scores for Lucas Van Ness. It's not the only thing. Like, there's got to be ability or coachability, something in there as well, outside of, this dude's just a really good athlete. Right. Because there is a skill level to playing that position that Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary have yet to master.
And on top of that, I am fascinated by the wide receiver situation. I want to understand better. You brought in all these guys for visits. We don't want to read too much into it, but and I know, Goody, that your track record shows that you don't bring guys in just for the hell of it or just for health checks or just for subterfuge. Your track record shows you draft or acquire a hell of a lot of guys who come in for visits. So what does this mean in terms of how you view this wide receiver class and the wide receiver depth chart that you had these guys in for visits?
And it's not just the wide receivers, because three of them are, and I think we can also just cross Isaiah Bond off just based on some of the other things. Yes. Some of the other things he's dealing with off the field.
Indeed.
But like Torrey Horton, Ty Felton, those are later round guys. And we take a look at the offensive linemen. He brought in a lot of offensive linemen, but guys that are projected for the mid to late rounds, which makes sense to me based on needing depth at that position, wanting to backfill a little bit. But 3 of the 6 that he brought in are potential first-round wide receivers.
Correct.
In Tet McMillan, Matthew Golden, and Emeka Ibuka. So I think that plays into it as well. It's not just, hey, we're looking at wide receivers. Half of the ones you brought in are potential first-round wide receivers, which, again, would break a trend that has been going on for the last 20-plus years in Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get up there and say, if one of those guys are there, we're taking him because we need wide receiver help. But I'm intrigued to see how he answers because of where they are at wide receiver. I mean, let's be honest here. You have Christian Watson in a contract year coming off an ACL, won't be ready till November-ish. You've got Romeo Doubs in a contract year coming off of 2 late-season concussions and not coming to work because he was unhappy with his role early in the season. By the way, getting himself suspended for a game in his hometown of Los Angeles. So I don't know how you don't look at him and think, can we believe that this guy will be there for us if we sign him to an extension to be on our team going forward? So you've got that. And then you've got your 2 guys that are left from the 23 draft going into their 3rd years, neither of whom made the one small step for man, one giant leap for wide receiver kind last season. So I love how he likes to say, whether it's about the pass rush or the wide receivers, we've got what we need to be successful. Okay, well, you got 8 picks, and you got a chance to make them more successful. How you going to do it?
his actions in terms of who he brought in, Jason, would tell a different story. And granted, you can only select one of those positions in the first round, but it is worth noting that the majority of players that, at least, again, like consensus boards, and you take a look at the way that guys like Dane Brugler at The Athletic or Mel Kiper Jr. are rating guys, the majority of the guys that you could go in the first round that he brought in are wide receivers and edge rushers.
Right.
So that tells to me that, maybe you don't believe that you have everything you need in those rooms collectively right now.
Right. Actions speak louder than words. A text on the Carbless Talk and text line, Carbless, less is more, 844-770-3776 from a 262 number. Remember to send your name so we can put you in our contacts so we know who you are. Question for Goody. Which offensive scheme is he using to evaluate players for in this year's draft? Is it the Shanahan wide zone run scheme or the inside run power scheme that we used most of last year? Look, they're going to run what seems to work best for Josh Jacobs. So if he's going to answer that question as, well, we want guys that are versatile that can play in both schemes, right? That's going to be the answer we're going to get to that question. But they clearly, to Rob's point about getting stale, remember, Mike Holmgren was only here for 7 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, the handsome head coach is not a young fella no more. He's been here a while. The system has been here for a while. And as Tausch and I have talked about a lot, I believe, and I had some really interesting conversations that led me to this place. This isn't just my opinion thrown about willy-nilly. I believe that this is going to have an offense that is centered around Josh Jacobs, no blank, and the tight ends. That's what I believe. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to throw passes to the wide receivers. That's not what it means at all. But this offense, I believe, will flow through the run game and through Tucker Kraft, Chipotle Ben, Luke Musgrave, John Fitzpatrick, etc. That's what I think. That's where I think they're trending. We'll see if that comes to fruition. We'll see if a first-round wide receiver would change that dynamic. But as Pipe Jim points out on the private talk and text line, this show is weird. Gabe hasn't interrupted you at all. I'm going to stop talking.
Do you want me to do that more?
Again. No.
Do you want me to interrupt more? I can.
It is
if it
different.
If it makes you feel more comfortable, Jason, I can butt in and interrupt. I can certainly do that if that's what you would love. If that's what you would like.
Couple of names, couple of things that just get under his skin a little bit. Yeah.
Well, Jason likes to get under my skin. I don't like to get under Jason's skin.
I don't think I don't find that to be accurate at all.
Well, you just said you were hoping they would take Shamar Stewart, so I'd get all fired up.
Well, you're fun when you're fired up.
This is what Tausch says about you. See?
Oh, now the shoe's on the other foot. How does it feel there, big guy?
A text from the 713 area code, which I think is Houston? Houston? 713? Fact check me on that, Jesse.
It is Houston. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, look at that.
How'd you know that?
It's amazing how much useless information I have upstairs, but I believe my old friend Phil Aiello lived in Houston for a while, and I learned that I think I learned that when I went down to visit him for a weekend, and I had nothing else going on, and I stayed for like a week and a half. I was like the guest who wouldn't leave, long before Paula and the girls came along. Ask Goody, what do you look for or value in a wide receiver? What is the main quality that you desire? That is interesting to me. 713. Again, send your name along so we know and we can put you in our contacts. But Gabe, they have, they view wide receiver kind of like a basketball team. Mm-hmm. Right? They want different guys that are different shapes, that play different positions, that are different sizes. They don't want all the same guy, but they're going to be waiting for the tall, super fast Christian Watson type guy until November. What do you think Goody is looking for in that guy? Because Abuka is not that guy.
No, I believe the Packers have just kind of, again, if you want to do a deep dive into draft nerd stuff, like they have these physical limitations, and twice I believe they've gone outside for it to get Jaden Reed, and then Randall Cobb would be the other one. Some guys that are a little bit smaller operate in the draft. Obviously, good decision to break that. Randall Cobb was a highly productive player for the Packers for a long time. jury's still out on Jaden Reed, although he was their leading receiver the last 2 years. So it makes me wonder if somebody, even though Matthew Golden has that speed, he's under 6 foot.
Correct.
That's typically not something the Packers like to do, even though he has that speed. Same thing with Emeka Egbuka. I think that's why when we talked with Rob, you heard him. I mean, just about every Packers beat person, Jason, I've heard talk about the draft. It's not a secret the Packers love Ted McMillan. Like, they want that guy if they can get him. It just doesn't seem like he is going to be the wide receiver available to them at 23. So yeah, I think certainly having a certain physicality and a certain physical structure is very important to Brian Gutekunst and the Packers, based on the types of wide receivers they've taken in the past.
All right, so I want you to give this some thought. I do this with Tausch sometimes, and have your answer at the ready when we return. If Tausch McMillan is him, if he's the guy, are you as a Packers fan in favor of Brian Gutekunst giving up picks to go up and get him? You consider that, while I ask our fans to consider, does your shower suck? Does it look terrible? Woof, as Tausch would say. Well, if you think your shower is one of the ugliest, UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, your shower is ugly, well, upload a photo to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests for your chance to win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services. Yes, you heard Tausch, or in my case, me, correctly. One lucky fan will win a free shower remodel from Kohler Services, including a design consultation, demolition and removal of your existing shower or bath, and installation of a brand new Kohler Luckstone shower. So upload your photo by April 30th to goodkarmabrands.com/Wisconsin contests, or inside the all-new, all redesigned, all customizable ESPN Wisconsin app. You can do it very easily from there as well for your chance to win. Does Gabe want Goody to go up and get Tausch McMillan? Whatever that cost might be, to go up 9, 10, 11 spots to get Ted McMillan. Is Gabe on board? We'll ask him next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, we're about to find out which new young players will be drafted in Green Bay to join the squad and help lead it into the future. Along with hosting the draft for the football world to see, it's an incredibly exciting time in Wisconsin sports. And with all this excitement, maybe it's also time for you to start thinking about a new vehicle. Well, if that's the case, start your search with Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Check out more than 60 new Chevy Equinox on the lot at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the largest selection in the state. There are also more than 30 Silverados and more than 30 sporty new Trax and Trailblazer models. Stop into Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie and discover this great selection of new vehicles from the automotive team I've been telling you about for years. Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust.
You remember the moments from that magical March.
Outside Decker, it's a three. Got it!
On June 26th, celebrate the squad with Made 'em Believe, a special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky, the drop stab, that's his favorite. And the two.
Presented by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzer. Tickets are on sale now at UWHoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's #1 pick, because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply in Sport 30-2025.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Waiting to see a general surgeon? With Stoughton Health, it's always easy access, with most appointments within a week. And with over 160 insurances accepted, you're covered and in good hands. For more information, visit stoughtonhealth.com. Stoughton Health, creating excellence together.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
This ain't a good time, but when is it ever? I know the perfect time, and maybe that's never. So don't you dare leave me now. Throw my heart.
All right, Gabe. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock at 12. They're saying, hey, we're open for business. You want to give up second and a fifth or whatever the cost might be? I haven't looked at my chart. To come up from 23 to up to 12. Get yourself Tetaroa McMillan. Are you hoping Goody does it?
I would not. I think the Packers have too many issues to address still on this roster where I would – if it ends up being a small move up, like when they moved up to get Jordan Love, I believe they gave up an additional fourth-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I would not want to move up to the point where I would give up my second or third-round pick. I want all three of my first two-day picks intact. Because, yeah, it'd be great if you go get a wide receiver. Still got questions about the defensive line. A lot of questions about that defensive line. Maybe they feel better about cornerback than we do. You know, if they think that there's some guy like Keelan King that's going to continue to grow.
Right.
And they just want some depth pieces there, you know, in the third round or later, sure. But I look at wide receiver. I look at the depth, even the depth that they have at pass rush. Like, those are things that need to be addressed the first 2 days. So I would be hesitant to move up. And also, that just expecting Goody to move up or going, oh, yeah, this is the year Goody's going to move up. I don't think he's going to do that. He doesn't have a plethora of picks. Now, if he had an additional second-round pick from a move he made or an additional third-round pick like he did after they had traded Rasul Douglas, yeah, maybe. But I just don't see it, knowing how Goody likes to hoard draft picks. And I think they can still get a good enough player at wide receiver and still hold on to some of their other picks. It's just not worth it to move all the way up. I don't think Tet McMillan is head and shoulders above everybody else in the draft class at his position.
So if we think back to Goody's first 7 drafts, there's his first draft in 2018 where he actually trades back from 14 to go pretty far back and accumulates a second first-round pick in 2019 from the Saints. And then he trades back up a few spots. Can't remember what he gave up. I think it was a fourth-round pick for that as well. A few spots to be able to take Jair Alexander at 18. Okay, so there's that. There's the trade in 2020 when he goes up from, 30th?
Mm-hmm.
To go up to 26. Now, again, I wish we had a time machine because I would like to know, was that expressly for Jordan Love? Because they made that trade beforehand, and obviously the 22nd pick was Justin Jefferson. The 25th pick was Brandon Ayuk, and then he took Jordan Love at 26. And he's never going to say now, I was actually trading up for the wide receivers. I settled for our franchise quarterback because you want to look like you knew what you were doing. And maybe he was. Maybe he had a little post-it that said Jordan Love no matter what. But I don't know that for certain. And then there was the 22 draft where he traded both of his second-round picks to move up to 34 to take Christian Watson with the second pick of the second round. That's pretty much the list of examples where he traded up in a meaningful way in the draft. Ted Thompson did it even less, did it for one guy, basically. I mean, there was the trade in the fourth round to get Jeremy Thompson one year. But the only guy that he ever really that's trivia, yeah. That's useless information. Again, more kind of like 713 being the Houston area code. There's only one trade that he really made to go up, right? And that was for Clay Matthews to get a second first-round pick in 2009.
Yeah, when he went back into the first round because the Packers were in the middle of revamping the defense, going from that 4-3 to the 3-4, and they decided, hey, we need these two guys. And then they didn't have a pick again until the fourth round. Man, that was a really good draft class. B.J. Raji, Clay Matthews, and T.J. Lang were the first three picks.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good.
Ted Thompson guy, he wasn't bad.
But
he missed
Goody,
on guys too.
So even though, certainly did. But everybody does. But I think it is worth noting that Goody, whether it was an original pick or not, has not been without a first, second, or third round pick ever. He has always made selections in all three of those rounds throughout his tenure as a general manager. Again, sometimes multiple selections because some of the other drafts that some of the other trades he was able to make. But he has made at least one pick in the first, second, and third round every year he has been the Packers GM.
And I expect that to continue. All right, Jesse's got a little Take It to the Bank presented by Associated Bank planned. Jesse, I am curious, though, did you play your prize picks this weekend? Usually you send this text message to Tausch and me as if I'm going to participate. I'm going to get the itch at one point. But of your picks for prize picks of the week, did you yourself play with the NBA playoffs going on and everything else?
I did dabble, including on Friday with the Flex Friday promo, and bad news was I was not accurate. Oop, that's Rob. Sorry, you can't see me.
Or how Rob did with his picks.
So bad news was I did not do that well on Friday night. Good news was because it was Flex Friday, I played the free $5. We used the little Flex Friday promo opt-in, so I lost, but I got refunded. That goes right back into my account because that's the perk of Flex Friday with Prize Picks. And so I was able to then go back at it and play again on Easter Sunday where I got a nice little victory. 3 out of 4 correct yesterday, looking at the NBA playoffs and, of course, baseball as well. Prize Picks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash with millions of members. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users like Tausch and like me and sign up today. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks games every night the next couple of weeks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, or maybe all of it. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Starting with the play-in round last week, every lineup you make on Prize Picks enters you into the Takes Two tickets sweepstakes. This is fun. That could get you and a +1, a VIP trip to the ship. Jason, if I were to win this contest, would you go with me?
Nope.
And say, okay, great. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. You wouldn't go with me to the NBA ship, as they like to say here on Prize, but you wouldn't go with me to sit courtside.
No, I don't like sitting courtside. I've sat there once before with my good friend David Gruber and Sydney, and I feel uncomfortable. I don't know when I'm allowed to stand. I'm looking at the Grizzlies coach's butt. Yeah, it's
stand whenever you want, Jason.
No, they want you.
You
like,
dictate it.
If you
you're
go
in the
to
first,
the concession,
you're in the front row.
no, I am not a celebrity. I am not David. They want you to go.
Who is?
Well, that's fair. They want you to move while the action is going on instead of moving while play is stopped. Tausch walks through the huddle when he went to one game. Like, I don't need that kind of pressure. It's a great opportunity, and Sydney loved it. I'll just sit at press row up
like when you do it in Milwaukee, that's one thing. If the Bucks aren't in it and we're in Oklahoma City and we're watching the Cavs and the Thunder sitting courtside,
there's no chance Jason is leaving the state of Wisconsin to watch any game involving anything unless his daughters are playing.
It's true. So if Sydney ends up playing point guard for the Thunder by the time you win, count me in. We'll get to Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson, and I gotta tell you, it's Free Food Friday on a Monday on ESPN Madison, brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out pizzas the Hut. Get ready for the draft right now with some free food from Pizza Hut. Caller number 3, 844-770-3776, wins free food on a Free Food Friday on a Monday from Pizza Hut. Caller 3, 844-770-3776. Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza back for just $13.99. Get a large pizza, 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites, plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate Chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. One large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Head to pizzahut.com or select Pizza Hut locations to enjoy your own Free Food Friday. Right now, caller 3, 844-770-3776 wins Free Food Friday on a Monday, courtesy of Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Did you miss Hunter Vaughn and the Dean Dennis Semrau this week? No fear, you can listen back on the ESPN Wisconsin app. This week, they took a look at the top athletes from around the area, plus they were joined by the head track and field coach of Sun Prairie East, Doug Moan, as well as a future Badger and defending 400-meter champion, Nicole Repka of Verona. Again, you can listen back on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, ready to sweeten your game? It's time for Quick Trip's Nature's Touch Ice Cream. Ooh, making moves like the starting lineup of a championship team. Whether you're gearing up for the big game, celebrating a win, or just looking for a sweet break in the action. Chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, and more. Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad pick. So why wait? Flavor doesn't scoop itself. Get your hands on your winning Nature's Touch Ice Cream flavor today. Only at Quick Trip.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Professional volleyball's historic first season from here in Madison is now complete, and Love Madison volleyball fans made it amazing. With some of the best players in the world, Olympic medalists, NCAA All-Americans, and one of the most talented rookie classes ever, this was volleyball at its highest level. And the best part, this is just the beginning. The energy, the talent, the community, it's all coming back even bigger next season. Volleyball is the next major league, and Madison is right at the heart of it.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Gabe Neitzel is in as our cousin sub of the day. Again, Gabe, if you want to support the Mac Fund and your efforts on its behalf as part of the Ringer, what do people need to do?
Just text GOLF, GOLF, to 800-990-3776. A text will be sent right to you with a link to our fundraising page. And again, every little bit counts, but if you do donate $25 or more, you'll be entered into a drawing for pizza for a year, courtesy of our friends at Palermo's Pizza.
Screamin' Sicilian.
Oh, yeah.
Has a new, well, I don't know if this is new. It's new to me.
Okay.
But I bought this yesterday. And I thought of Jesse. I hate it when this happens.
You've
when
been
something
thinking of me
happens
a
in my
lot
life.
lately.
When
What's been
exactly,
going on over there?
This is alarming. I'm going to be honest. Next thing you know, I'll be going to the renewal of your vows when you do that for the wedding that I didn't attend. But I was at the grocery store last night. They have a Detroit style.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Which I had never seen before. Now, in fairness, I don't do a lot of the grocery shopping. Paula does that because otherwise I'd come home with Fruit Loops, Lucky Charms, ice cream, like nothing good. So I'm banned from grocery shopping. But this, I at least chose one item that was very smart, and that was the Screamin' Sicilian Pepperoni Detroit style pizza. I think I'm going to have it for dinner tonight.
I don't know how they did it, Jason, because usually when you think the Detroit style, you know, that pan style, crust is a little thicker.
Yeah,
and
caramelizes.
When, you know, somehow with the frozen pizza, they figured out a way to make it light and airy and crispy. It is, you are really going to enjoy that tonight.
Okay, good.
Let me tell you.
And I'm glad they're supporting you as well and the Mac Fund. All right. And yes, it's a Detroit style. I was like, oh, wow, I'm just like Jesse. And I still bought it. All right, time now to take it to the bank with Associated Bank.
Gabe, you're one of these fancy ESPN radio national hosts doing Joe and Q and Game Night and all these great shows all the time.
Jesse, are you jealous?
No.
Would you like Gabe to put in a good word for you?
Everybody who knows Gabe works way too much for my taste. You know, we're all on the same page here.
It's actually very accurate.
I'd like to do like one of the things Gabe does on a regular basis. Jordan Reed did a full 7-round mock draft. That seems excessive. Is this something that gets like national run and people are like, wow, we got to look at the 7-round mock and break down what he's got in the 6th with Kansas City?
I mean, I don't think that the 6th round is necessarily for the national consumption. Obviously, I would say the 1st round, early 2nd round would probably, if Jordan is making the rounds in the different ESPN radio shows, they'll talk to him about that. I think the later rounds are for, you know, again, the draft nerds like myself. So, did I take a look at it today? Did I, make note of some of the guys that he took later rounds, like Shamiri DK out of Florida in the 5th round? Yeah, I did notice that. I did notice that he also had Essa Pohl, a defensive tackle from Washington State, who the Packers brought in for a pre-draft visit. Also had him going in the 6th round of the Packers. These are things, yes, I was taking note of. I don't know if they'll be noted nationally or really on any other ESPN Wisconsin show other than this one right now.
And we're going to do it with Take It to the Bank, inspired by Jordan Reeves' 7-round mock draft, which you can find over at ESPNWisconsin.com. Let's start in round 1. Take It to the Bank. He has Shamar Stewart of Texas A&M going to the Packers. Take it to the bank. You trust Goody and RAS scores enough to feel good about the pick if the Packers select Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. Gabe, we know your answer.
I'll be all the way out on RAS scores from now until forever if Shamar Stewart ends up being the pick.
And then he becomes a Hall of Famer. I am going to take it to the bank that he is going to rely slightly less on RAS scores. Tausch was the one who made this point, that when you do something over and over and over again and you get similar results, you need to revise. You heard Rob just say a little bit earlier about the importance of revising your offense because things get stale. Well, maybe Goody has looked and said, all right, RAS score is always going to be important to me. I want athletes. But I can't. But a guy with, 4.5 career sacks, 1.5 last season. That's a bridge too far on the RAS score. I'm gonna take it to the bank that he's learning his lesson and adjusting his use of RAS scores.
I'm really curious to know, because the reason why Goody loves these RAS scores, or because you have to have certain athletic ability typically to play that position. But I'm really curious, and maybe if I can find some free time before Thursday, I'll try to dive in and try to figure out if there's a baseline of production you need at that position in college in order to predict success at that level. Because, again, you look at the best ones today. I mean, T.J. Watt obviously had production at Wisconsin. Myles Garrett was incredibly productive in his college career. Most of these guys that are up there in the NFL had production at the college level, and they just continued that once they got to the pros.
Correct. Next.
In round 2, Jordan Reed has the Packers taking the wide receiver from Stanford, whose name I don't know how to say. Elik Ayomanor? Is that it?
Nailed it.
All right. Take it to the bank. The Packers will draft at least one wide receiver before the end of day 2. Rounds 1, 2, or 3.
Ooh, I like this one.
Gabe?
Yeah, take that to the bank. Take it to the bank. Based on the guys that they have brought in, and even if Ted McMillan's the only one they like in the first round, I think they like some of these guys potentially to fall to them in the second round. Whether it ends up being Golden, who I doubt because of his speed would fall that far, or Abuka. If one of these guys falls to them in the second round, they're going to take him. Either way, they know they need depth. They need to start backfilling that position, because as we continue to highlight, you don't know the future of Romeo Doubs. You don't know the future of Christian Watson, not just because of the injury, but because of the contract status. So I doubt, even if you don't know if you're going to bring one of them back, both of them back, neither of them back. So you need to start backfilling that position the way that Ted Thompson used to back in the day.
Yeah, this one I am not a wagerer, but if Prize Picks gave me 0.5 wide receivers drafted on day 2 by the Green Bay Packers, I'm not going to take the girls' college funds or my next mortgage payment, but I'm very confident. I don't think they get out of the first 2 days of the draft, whether it's somehow, some way, a wide receiver in round 1 or definitely on day 2. I think they'll have a new wide receiver on their team before we start Saturday's picks.
Last up, and Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank. Gabe mentioned this one. On day 3, Jordan Reed, ESPN NFL draft analyst, projects the Green Bay Packers to select Florida wide receiver, former Wisconsin Badger, I believe Waukesha North High School alum, Chimere Dike. Take it to the bank. Jason, if you want to go first on this one, because Tausch was getting after you for this last week.
It does happen a lot.
It makes sense for at least one current or former Badgers player to be drafted by the Packers this year. Graham Mertz, Chimere Dike, Hunter Wohler, among others, who are in the mix as potential day 3 picks.
Yeah, I like Chimere Dike. I'm not. Is it Chimere or Chimere? I always said Chimere, but maybe I'm saying it wrong. He's a Gator now. He's not a Badger, but I'm taking the other Gator. I am going to go down with the Graham Mertz is going to be the undrafted free agent quarterback the Packers bring in after his dad played for Goody's dad at the University of Minnesota. So I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing it. Book it.
I am not taking it to the bank. I just feel like, unfortunately, the Badgers don't have a ton of draftable prospects. And the one that, and I know you guys talked about this last week with Hunter Wohler on your show, that's just not a position the Packers have any need for. Don't need any safeties on this team. They're pretty set there. So I will not take it to the bank that the Packers are going to end up with a current or former Badger in after the draft is all said and done.
All right, there you have it. That is Take It to the Bank, presented by Associated Bank, and you should take it to the bank that the best customer service in the industry belongs to Associated Bank. They've got the awards to prove it, but more importantly, they've got the perks to prove it. They've got early pay, which allows you to get access to your direct deposit from your employer up to 2 days early. They've got fraud protection. Everyone needs that, and theirs is the best. I experienced it. They prevented a major situation for me with their great fraud protection. They've got credit monitoring. You want to make sure that your credit score is healthy. Well, they make sure that you are on top of that as well. And, of course, 30,000 plus ATMs that are surcharge-free, so you don't get charged to get access to your money. And on top of all that, Packers checking, Badgers checking, and Brewers checking. It's Associated Bank. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. We're going to shift gears briefly because the Milwaukee Bucks played Game 1 of their NBA playoff series. It did not go well. Gabe was not behind the mic. Maybe a coincidence, maybe not. But we'll talk about where the Bucks go from here with Gabe Neitzel, sometimes radio voice of the Milwaukee Bucks. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
You still want to see that steady play, that steady improvement, and you didn't get it from Jordan Love?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That just makes the stakes that much higher this season.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
The UW Credit Union member Mark Tauscher here. People ask me, old T, why did you join UW Credit Union? Well, is it to keep your banking local? Is it the member first service? Great perks like early payday? Absolutely. But honestly, between us, I mean, it's Bucky. I can't say no to that face. If you love Wisconsin like I do, you just can't pay with anything else. Fandom makes us do crazy things, but this just makes sense. Become a UW Credit Union member and get your Bucky card like me. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Shop Beauty Rest Black mattresses at Steinhoffels. The new Beauty Rest Black is only $42 per month when you use Steinhoffels 60-month financing only at Steinhoffels. Wisconsin football losing players to the portal, including highly touted receiver Mark Hamper and tight end Tanner Koziel. Luke Fickell joining Wilde and Tausch, sharing his forward-thinking approach.
I don't want to find out on August 28th or September, whatever, in Tuscaloosa, that they don't really love what it is that they're doing. They aren't committed to their teammates. This is a little bit too much for them. I guess it's better that you find that out now so that you can continue to develop the people that you know deep down inside have it. They just haven't had the opportunity to be able to show it yet.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated
champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Whether tailgating or hosting at home, don't serve boring, bland food. As the official grill of the Green Bay Packers, Pit Boss brings the heat with a wide range of wood pellet grills, smokers, and hardwood pellet fuel. Reach another level of flavor that can't be achieved with a charcoal or gas grill, and it's beyond easy. Seriously, Pit Boss grills get cooking with just a few simple steps. Grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, char grill, barbecue, and direct flame sear. The all-in-one Pit Boss does it all. Learn more today at pitboss-grills.com.
After a storm, even seemingly small damage can lead to major problems. If your roof or siding took a hit with this recent storm, your insurance may cover the damage, but the process is still a nightmare. Badgerland Exteriors makes it seamless. They'll guide you through every step and get your family's home back in tip-top shape just as fast as that storm ripped through.
Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit badgerlandexteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's badgerlandexteriors.com.
This is our crew.
Throwing is up, scrambling home. He's going to score, and Yelich into third. Oh, the Brewers with the double steal.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
I say go, baby, go, go, go.
So as I understand it, this is how actual radio shows go about their business. They talk about more than just the Packers and whatever's on Tausch's mind. Is that an accurate depiction of what happens on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy?
No. Typically, we talk about the Packers and whatever is on Chewy's mind. So I mean, similar. I think we follow similar formulas. Yeah, a lot of Packers and nonsense on our show.
But you talked about the Bucs today.
We did, yeah. We're in the playoffs, and when you get embarrassed in Game 1, turns out you're going to end up talking about it a little bit.
As the sometimes radio voice, and as someone who knows this team, not as well as our friend Justin Garcia, who's as good as it gets when it comes to knowing the Bucs, I am curious, are you concerned?
I'm not that concerned right now. And the reasons are, number one, I believe
Dame coming back.
Yeah, Dame is going to be coming back. And by the way, after he was jawing with Tyrese Halliburton, almost makes me think he's going to be back for Game 2 versus Game 3. But I think that's a big part of it. Now, a lot of other things, like Dame coming back in and of itself is not enough. But this was a team, Jason, that led the league in three-point shooting as a team. They shot under 25% from three in Game 1. So I think that number is going to get better. And there was they played so poorly, and it's just so there's some obvious fixes that can happen offensively. Just getting more movement, trying to get more people involved, shoring up some of the. I mean, Kyle Kuzma got lost on defense a couple of different times. That's why I think he only played 20-some-odd minutes, only 22 minutes, I believe. Not because he was 0-5 and didn't score. I think it's because he was getting lost on defense a couple of times that led to some of those wide-open threes for the Pacers. But I saw this team play really good basketball down the stretch. They won their last 8 games, and a lot of it was through the strength of their defense. I think they are going to recapture that in Game 2. And again, Dame coming back is going to give the Pacers something more that they have to focus on defensively, other than just stopping Giannis, which they can't really do anyway because they don't have anybody who can match up with him, as evidenced by his 36 points that he scored. So I think having somebody that can knock down those shots and is just going to open up more things for more guys like Taurean Prince, who was third in the NBA in three-point shooting, only taking 1 shot in the game on Saturday. I think it's some pretty easy fixes right now for the Bucks to get themselves back into this series.
All right, I am getting ready to head over to Lambeau Field, so here's what's going to happen during the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to talk a little bit more about our conversation that's upcoming with Goody, as he will be at the podium to discuss the Packers' draft situation in his annual pre-draft news conference. And then Jesse and Gabe are going to play a little trivia while I get in the car and start heading to Lambeau. And then I'm going to join during the Whoa Nelly window to give you my bird's eye view, or maybe street level view, of the draft campus as I head into Lambeau Field. But before we can do that, Jesse needs to tell us in his best Mark Tauscher here voice about his love of Coors Light.
Mark Tauscher here for the cool, refreshing taste in the Blue Mountains of Coors Light. Whether you're tailgating pregame, enjoying your experience during the game, or celebrating a big win after the game, you just need a moment to chill. Crack open a Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged, so it's actually made to chill. And the mountains on Coors cold activated bottles and cans turn blue when chilled to perfection, which besides the refreshing taste is me, Mark Tauscher's favorite thing about drinking Coors Light. Refreshingly cold, only 102 calories. Coors Light is made to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, a Golden, Colorado.
When did Tausch start sounding like Jesse? When did that happen? Did I miss something last week?
He thinks he sounds like Tausch. He thinks he does a good Tausch.
That was not one of my better performances, I will say.
I mean, you should probably sing it the way Chewy sings his live reads now.
He sings them?
Well, he did it one time. He sang his Jewelry Center live read. Yes, he just like freestyled it. It was a couple of different. I mean, I think he was going for like a college marching band fight song type of feel, but also I think at different times it kind of shifted into like a hymn that you would sing at church, and there were a couple of different styles throughout the minute live read that he did about a week ago. Yeah.
In fairness, I think Tausch and I have done a fair share of singing with each other enough already, thanks to headlines of 2023.
Much better than the movies, from what many people have said.
According to some.
All right, well, now I'm fixated on how did Chewy go about this. Want some diamonds, want some earrings, need to come see me. Maybe that's not how it sounded.
Not bad.
It was better than what he did, but
the University of Wisconsin would like a word with me for changing the fight song. We'll kick off the 11 o'clock hour in 2 minutes with Gabe Neitzel, our cousin sub of the day. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. Happy Draft Week. I'm Jesse Nelson. Sports Center brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. It is NFL Draft Week. The 2025 NFL Draft kicks off Thursday night in Green Bay, one of the biggest events the state of Wisconsin has ever seen. The 2025 NFL Draft taking place in Titletown. Everything you need to get set for it all week long right here on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison and ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channels, including expanded local coverage this week from noon to 2 after Wilde and Tausch. Catch ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week, hosted by Alex Strofe, live from the shadows of Lambeau Field. That's each day this week from noon to 2 here on 100.5 ESPN and on YouTube. NBA, the Bucks getting set for Game 2 of their Eastern Conference first-round playoff series with the Indiana Pacers. Indiana took Game 1 Saturday afternoon in convincing fashion. Game 2 tomorrow night, 6 o'clock tip. Pre-game coverage starts at 5:30 right here on Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN. Brewers out west visiting the Giants tonight, 8:45 first pitch.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Begins now. You know, even with Demovsky's appearance, by the way, as we look at reverse cam on the video feed, clock management's much closer to on point than it is in some other instances. Just in case you were curious.
What are those other instances?
I don't
Jason?
know. Just an observation. But I want to get back to something here because I used to love I don't want to call them face-offs or battles because they weren't that. But I used to love these when Ted Thompson used to do them because I love a good challenge. And the challenge was get him to give me some intel that makes for an interesting pre-draft story. And if we're being honest, he won more than I did. If it's a contest, he won more often. But there were times, and I always love to tell this story, when I said, you know, Ted, you get up there and you tell us you took the best player available and you give us the spiel about it. Well, it's just how it worked out. And I don't believe you. Can you explain how, even if you're trying to draft the best player available, need has to factor in somehow? Can you explain how need factors in? Because you don't draft for need, I get it. But need has got to be part of the equation, right? And I'll never forget this. It drove the TV crews crazy. And if you were there to try and secure radio quality audio, it was a problem. But if you were in the room where it happened, it was amazing. So he basically walked away from the podium, went to the back wall where you've got the Packers logos and the Associated Bank logos. And, Gabe, you've heard me tell this story before. And he basically explained how the Packers set up their board, which I don't mean to be whatever, but that's the kind of insight fans would like. They don't get to go in the room. They see the occasional pictures. But this was great. And he explained how down the left side of the board, they have rounds 1 through 7. And then across the top, they have all of the different positions across the board. And remember, you got to envision this. This is Ted with his back to the media, pantomiming it. And he's still talking, and we can hear him, but it's obviously not broadcast quality. And what he did was, so he gave us an example, and I'm going to use you two as my prospects, okay? Jesse, what position do you want to play in the NFL?
Great answer.
Gabe, what position do you want to play?
I'll be a defensive back. Jason.
Right. I'm gonna make Jesse a left guard for our purposes.
I was on the phone with a fan. Yeah, sorry.
It's amazing how often that happens.
Yeah, I should just leave myself on camera. By the way, the fans want to know why Pat Connaughton wasn't shooting from 3, Gabe, if you'd like to elaborate at all what happened on Saturday afternoon. We wanted to get into that a little bit, break down the balls.
Pat didn't play. I think he played a minute.
What happened there? It's playoff Pat.
He's not a part of the regular rotation. That's what happened.
He's really good on the last day of the season, though.
Yeah, he was really good in the JV game.
Points. Yeah,
it was great.
What position would he like to play?
Jesse, what position am I putting you at now that you've joined us?
Running back.
All right, so Jesse's a running back. Gabe's a defensive back. We have you both graded exactly the same. You are both first-round picks. You have the same number grade. We don't need a running back, but we need a corner. And that was how Ted explained how you factor in need, is that it's basically the tiebreaker. Now, if you start to draft for need and you're picking guys that aren't rated as high, like say you need a running back, you got a bunch of people that are clearly going to be higher rated than Jesse on your board, but Jesse's the next available running back. You take Jesse anyway. That's how you get into trouble. So the reason why I bring this story up is I'm super motivated every year when we do this to get that kind of that's kind of the gold standard of something we got out of a press conference heading into the draft. The RAS discussion, which I think we had to some degree last year, I think we'll hear it again. I'm super curious, though, what we could get out of Goody that'll give us a better idea. And I think the wide receiver visit question is the route to go. And I'm guessing my colleagues are thinking the same thing. But to me, Gabe, the other thing that I'm really intrigued by is how are you going to conjure up more picks?
Yeah.
You've made it very clear you want more picks. And I'm going to say, hey, Gabe Neitzel told me that you have not had a single draft where you failed to draft in the first, second, and third round. Every year, you've at least made one pick in each of the first 3 rounds every single year, these 7 years running. If you want to move up, in the first round, that means you're going to have to probably give up one of those to go up and get that person. So where do you stand on that? And then on the flip side, how are you going to manipulate the board to add more picks? What do you think of that topic?
I think that's fantastic, and I think that's a big reason why he was kind of hoping that he could get something for Jair Alexander. Not just because of what it would, just because it would represent another pick, conditional 6th or whatever. Okay, now I've got to, I guess it wouldn't be conditional at this point because you would want the draft pick this year. Right. But you get a 6th round pick for him. Okay, now that 6th round pick, okay, can I use that to package a trade up and then trade back down? Because as you've mentioned, he's done that a number of different times, Jason. Like just having that extra pick that he might be able to create into, okay, now it's a 6th, but can I package it with something else and turn it into a 5th, a 4th? I think having that flexibility, it is an odd year for the Packers where the only extra draft pick they have right now is in the 7th round.
But here's the problem with Jair Alexander, as we discussed with Rob Demovsky earlier, and if you didn't hear that, there was some really good stuff from Rob you want to catch up on when you have the chance. Who is going to take on his $17 million contract?
No one. And even if you get desperate, Jason, and you miss out on whoever you wanted in the first or second round, or I guess because, he's not going for a day 1 or day 2 pick. So if you miss out on whoever you wanted in the first 3 rounds and you're sitting there now on day 3, I don't think you're just going to go desperate and go, yep, we're going to give up a draft pick and pay $17 million for a guy we don't know how long he's going to be available to us, how much he's going to play. Like that's not a decision that somebody's going to make in haste. And Jair's not going to negotiate with you. He's made that clear because he would rather just get cut so he can determine where he goes and make that decision for himself instead be traded. So that's why it's been a pipe dream this entire time that Goody could potentially get a desperate team to sign up for his $17.5 million salary.
Right, and that's exactly why he's held on to him, though, is that hope that somehow, some way, someone is going to say, hey, we got the cap room. He's going to cost us a 6th-round pick, and if he plays, he's a really good football player still. And we'll be sitting there going, boy, that was a good bargain that we traded for him and gave up a 6th and paid him 16 and change as a base salary this year. We'll be thankful that we did it. I don't know if that team exists. My gut tells me that they're going to do one of those. You mentioned Rasul Douglas earlier. If they're going to get any trade, and I don't believe they are, I am in the release club with him. I just don't believe it because, again, if he's not willing to take a pay cut, if you're acquiring him, you don't want him at 16. You just don't. I don't believe that because you don't know what you're going to get. But if they were to make a trade, I think it's going to be one of those kind of, I don't want to call them phony baloney, but they kind of are. Those phony baloney trades where you trade the player and a pick, and you get a pick back, where you don't really get an extra pick. You just get a different pick. And in Rasul Douglas's case, when they traded him, they also traded a 5th-round pick. And they got a 3rd-rounder back. So they basically traded Rasul Douglas to move up 60 spots. And look, 60 spots is nothing to sneeze at. Don't get me wrong. But you didn't get an extra choice. You don't now. If you make a trade like that, you will still have 8 picks. You won't have 9 picks or 10 picks. And so I am very curious how confident he feels that he can manipulate his board on Saturday or even on Friday. And I'm really curious how willing he is, since he got the go-ahead from his team president. Does he have it in him to trade out of the 1st round to accumulate a bunch of extra picks on day 2 and day 3 when the draft is in his town?
Especially after hearing Rob earlier today on this show, Jason, Rob Demovsky of ESPN.com, say that I don't think they're going to draft a 1st-round wide receiver unless Ted McMillan drops to them. That to me says, okay, they've got every other wide receiver, or a group of wide receivers with similar grades. And if a pass rusher that they were looking at isn't there at 23 either, he's totally cool with trading down into the 2nd round and getting more picks. Like that, hearing it's either Tet or no one at wide receiver in the 1st round makes me think it's more likely he trades out at 23.
Yeah. And again, I understand that there are folks that think, oh, come on, they want to make their pick in the 1st round. They're hosting the draft. Seriously, if you do it for that reason, you shouldn't be doing this. For the crowd to cheer for the 1st-round pick, you get extra picks. You'll be at the podium more often. They'll have more opportunities to cheer for their team making selections. So we'll have to wait and see if the draft board falls that way that puts them in that position. Because I do have a feeling, and I think you've seen this from people that know a lot more about the draft than me, that there are some ledges, some drop-offs in this draft. And if you get to a point where you're at 23 and you don't necessarily see guys that are worthy of the 23 pick, but other teams do, that they want to go up and get a specific guy, make the move, because you can make your team a lot better with extra picks.
And again, this is where who falls becomes interesting. Because if at that point, if everybody's passing on Shedeur, I don't know if they will, but if they do, I'm just using him as the example, and he's still available at 23, maybe one of those teams that passed on him earlier is cool with coming up and getting him now because they still want that 5th-year option for a quarterback.
We will see how that plays out. We are just days away from the 1st round of the NFL draft here in Green Bay. We're just moments away from trivia. Jesse, what's today's category, and what caller do you and Gabe want as I make my way to Lambeau?
It is a Monday, which makes it the Sports Weekend Recap, recapping another eventful weekend in the world of sports. Gabe, what caller number would you like to take since we're holding this down together?
Let's go with lucky number 7, caller 7.
All right, there you have it, caller 7. If that'll be lucky for you, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Caller 7 plays trivia with Gabe and Jesse. Next, as I hit the road and head to Lambeau Field and rejoin you during the Whoa Nelly window. Trivia's next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Chevy Truck Month is back. Get more truck for your buck at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Right now, get 2.9% APR financing for 72 months and $6,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Chevy Silverado. That's right, 2.9% for 6 years. That really is more truck for your buck. But hurry, offer ends on April 30th. Never overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet. No down payment required. Monthly payments equal $15.15 per $1,000 financed with approved credit through GM Financial.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 100.5 ESPN.
Lillard's going to tee up a three, and he splashes it through for the left wing.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Without Damian Lillard for Game 1 of their playoff series against the Indiana Pacers, Giannis doing everything in his will to make sure the Bucks stayed on track.
Giannis drives inside. He got fouled, and he laid it in with a right-hand finger roll. He is a one-man wrecking crew right now for Milwaukee, and they have needed every bit of it, but the reality is they're going to need some help beyond Giannis now.
Unfortunately, though, Giannis' 36 points and 12 boards not enough as the Pacers win Game 1 117-98 behind 25 points from Pascal Siakam. Game 2 happens in Indianapolis on Tuesday night.
This has been your Milwaukee Basketball Report on Madison's home for Bucks basketball, 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
We shopped at Chalmers because my husband wanted to get me a larger diamond in my engagement ring.
The folks at Chalmers said, well, we could just make it like this and we could do these things. Really just basically decided that there wasn't any place else we wanted to shop.
But not only did they create this new engagement ring for me with this gorgeous center stone, they also rehabbed this other ring, and I am beyond pleased.
Her favorite thing to do now is to walk around and show her hands and have people comment on it.
As clutch of a player to ever play basketball.
It's Dame time on Season 4 of Behind the Bucks on Bucks Plus.
This year I was like, I need to impose myself more on this team.
Explore Damian Lillard's journey to becoming a top 75 player in NBA history.
That's what really had me feeling like this is going to be great.
Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker, and H&R Benefits Consultant. Find Bucks Plus on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. National and local awards proving Siding Unlimited will deliver peace of mind. Looking for inspiration to replace your windows, roofing, siding, and doors? Stop by our amazing showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. And definitely check out sidingunlimited.com. We are Siding Unlimited.
Whether tailgating or hosting at home, don't serve boring, bland food. As the official grill of the Green Bay Packers, Pit Boss brings the heat with a wide range of wood pellet grills, smokers, and hardwood pellet fuel. Reach another level of flavor that can't be achieved with a charcoal or gas grill, and it's beyond easy. Seriously, Pit Boss grills get cooking with just a few simple steps. Grill, smoke, bake, roast, braise, char grill, barbecue, and direct flame sear. The all-in-one Pit Boss does it all. Learn more today at pitboss-grills.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around. You can see me turning. Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around.
Wilde and Tausch with no Wilde and no Tausch for the time being. Jesse and Gabe holding it down. Gabe Neitzel in the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studios in Milwaukee. I'm in the Everlight Solar studio at ESPN Madison. Jason is on his way to Lambeau Field, where members of the media, including the esteemed Jason Wilde, will be meeting with Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst at noon today for his pre-draft press conference. Excited to hear what the Packers GM has to say. We'll talk about it all day long. I'm sure we'll react plenty to it tomorrow when Tausch returns to the show as well. Until we hear from Jason again, which will be in about 10 minutes as he's heading over, wonder how he's going to handle the traffic, wonder how he's going to handle the adversity. Gabe, from working very closely with Jason, I will say that I don't know how he will handle the adverse conditions of traveling to Lambeau Field. He seemed like he had a plan, which is good.
Yeah, look, I mean, I have no idea what the traffic situation is going to be like, how early he's going to have to get there. I also don't know what his responsibilities are. Are him and Tausch going to be doing their show from the trio on Thursday?
Thursday and Friday, which
okay.
If I'm nervous for Jason, I'm more nervous for Tausch. I can just see, I know how Thursday morning is going to go. He's going to be irritated and grumpy from the traffic and how far he had to park and walk. And
but is
he was
he
up early?
I mean, I'm assuming we've got places where we're staying. Like I'm going up there on Thursday. I'm staying over Friday night. I'm staying over Saturday night. So somebody's going to be, if he's staying up there, somebody's going to be shuttling him back and forth.
It doesn't
He's
matter.
not going to have to worry about this stuff.
We've done shows where there's late nights like that where he stayed in the house we did the show. All he had to do was roll out of bed and walk over 10 feet to do the show and put a headset on. And he was still irritated and grumpy about the quick turnaround.
So big guy needs his sleep.
Yeah.
NFL boy needs his 8 hours.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting at the back end of this week. I hope Jason handles it all well, and at least he gets one out of the way traveling over to Lambeau today to get used to all the conditions. Maybe I should do the same before I get there, and same with you on later this week. Time now to play Wilde and Tausch trivia while we wait for Jason to join us in the next segment, and we welcome in today's trivia contestant. It is longtime friend of show, fan of show, Don in Sun Prairie. Don, good morning. Welcome to Jesse and Gabe on Wilde and Tausch. How you doing?
Real good. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Wonderful. Don, before we play trivia, what question would you ask Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst at his noon press conference today?
I guess why they've been so reluctant not to draft wide receivers in the first round.
How would you answer that, Gabe Gutekunst?
I think the way he's going to answer it is something along the line of, we had traded. We had a first-round grade on Christian Watson. We took him in the second, with the second pick in the second round. We look at him basically as a first-rounder. We've invested a lot in that position over the years with the number of draft picks that we've taken, and have just haven't had the right grades on the right guys when it's been our turn to pick. Something along those lines. It would be the answer, I believe, from Brian Gutekunst.
You've been practicing that, haven't you?
I mean, I've listened to Goody enough, man. Like, I've listened to Goody enough. I know what BS answer he's going to give.
Don sounded like Goody.
It just sounded just like he was here. We don't even need the press conference. Gabe Gutekunst can handle it all. All right, Don, let's play Wilde and Tausch trivia. It is the sports weekend recap on a Monday. Here is question number 1. Which NBA team won a play-in tournament game Friday night, then turned around and lost by 51 points in Game 1 of their first-round series on Sunday? Was that the Memphis Grizzlies, the Atlanta Hawks, or the New Jersey Nets?
I'll go Memphis Grizzlies.
The New Jersey Nets do not exist anymore. They are the Brooklyn Nets, and the Atlanta Hawks did not win on Friday night. Nicely done. The Memphis Grizzlies, big win over the Mavericks, and then they lose by 51 to the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday afternoon. Don's on board.
Question number 2 for you, Don. For the second straight weekend, a popular golfer who had not won a tournament in a while won in a playoff. Which PGA golfer won the RBC Heritage yesterday afternoon? Was it Jordan Spieth? Was it Justin Thomas? Or was it Xander Schauffele?
I'll go with Thomas.
Justin Thomas is a correct answer. Made a nice 21-footer on the first playoff hole. Heck of a win for him. First time in over 1,000 days that Justin Thomas had won a PGA Tour tournament.
And for more on that win and all things golf, Gabe, where can the fans catch you and Stephen Watson?
On the Tee, coming up at 6 o'clock Tuesday night. You can watch it on ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube page, listen live on 94.5 ESPN, or download the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
No pressure, Don. We got a perfect week going here.
2 for 2.
Question number 3, and I don't know if we've ever done a sports weekend recap question quite like this. The Boston Red Sox are hosting the Chicago White Sox right now in a game that started around 10 a.m. Central Time as part of the annual Boston tradition known by which of these names? In Boston, is it Founders Day, Patriots Day, or Athletes Day?
I'll just stab with Patriots Day.
Patriots Day. Boston Marathon, Red Sox game early, and the name of a Mark Wahlberg movie from a number of years ago, because that is the day that they celebrate in Boston.
Oh, it's Patriots Day, kid.
Patriots Day. We got the Sox playing the Sox. You kidding me, Gabe? It's gonna be awesome, huh?
Oh, they've hit some bombs over the Green Monster already, kid. They're already winning the game right now.
Was Big Poppy there for the opening ceremonies today?
I'm assuming. It's always a big day
for the
kid.
marathon. It's awesome. Okay, Donnie. Congratulations, 3 for 3, a perfect day, and starting a perfect week of Wilde and Tausch trivia. And it wasn't the easiest. You got us there, though. Thanks so much for playing.
All right. Love you guys.
I
love you guys.
Don's a real one. He knows.
Yeah, no, he gets it. He gets the show.
Wilde and Tausch trivia. Don in Sun Prairie, a perfect 3 for 3, entered to win an ESPN Wisconsin prize pack, which we will almost undoubtedly forget to do the drawing on Friday this week, given the NFL draft and all the fun and the chaos that'll be going on Thursday, Friday, Saturday up in Green Bay. Jesse and Gabe right now on Wilde and Tausch. Jason Wilde rejoins us as he is heading over to Lambeau Field for Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst's press conference starting at noon. We'll see how he's navigating the roads. We'll see what the NFL draft setup has done for his inconvenience. We will check in with Jason next on Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, a place I've loved going back to the days when I was a kid participating in their legendary Book It program. Man, I loved Pizza Hut back then, and I love creating new Pizza Hut memories with my family now. And right now, Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For just $13.99, you can get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips. Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. That's a lot of ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. And remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Jim Rutledge here, and I want to tell you about the Bruce Company, Dane County's premier retailer of outdoor furniture. They'll help you elevate your outdoor living space like they have for me. Exceptional craftsmanship, all the latest styles, colors, and durable materials that hold up to whatever Wisconsin weather brings. From deep seating to dining, pick your set and the Bruce Company will customize it to fit your style. Visit their furniture showroom in Middleton and let their trained staff help you bring your outdoor dreams to life. The Bruce Company, your outdoor living experts.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wilde?
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts. But Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply and 4/30/2025.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
It's time for spring savings at Metro Kia Madison this month. Drive away in the 2025 Kia K4 with financing as low as 2.9% for 48 months, $22.09 cost per thousand borrowed. Or you can upgrade to the luxurious 2025 Kia Sportage with rates as low as 1.9% for 60 months, $17.48 cost per thousand. Hurry, these offers end April 30th. Head to Metro Kia Madison or visit metrokiamadison.com today.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo at the Bridges. On Saturday, May 3rd, play in a 2 or 4 person scramble for $120 per person. Includes 18 holes with a cart, prizes, and a Mexican feast. Find more details at golfthebridges.com today.
Brewers baseball is back.
Bunting it up the first baseline. It's a good bunt. Racing home is done. He will score. Bryce Terrain gets the job done.
Hear the sound of summer right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
Tausch, Jesse and Gabe, but not really, because Wilde's here again. Joining us now on his own show where he was 12 minutes ago, driving to Lambeau Field, giving us the sights and sounds as they put the finishing touches on the 2025 NFL Draft setup in Green Bay. It is Jason Wilde. I was trying to remember the last time I've actually called Jason on the phone like all of our producers do when he typically joins all of our local shows. It's been a minute, so this was a new experience for me. Hi, Jason.
Well, hi, guys. Great to be on the show. Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. First of all, you know, we were told by upper management as we launched the ESPN Wisconsin app, you know, play around with it, test it out, see what you like, give us your feedback. And obviously I did that. But I got to use it just now as I drove from my home. Right now I'm passing Ashwaubenon High School. Looks great right now. Go Jags.
I was about to say go Jags, yep. Mm-hmm.
But as I was driving, so I actually got to use it as like a legitimate consumer, not like a guinea pig testing it out. And again, we try to be honest as all the time, not when it's convenient, always. And I have to tell you, it is so easy, especially if, now I used to drive, and I'm disappointed that I didn't get to 300,000 miles before I finally had to give up the Ghost. But I had my 2007 Lexus SUV, like the last vestige of having a little bit of money to spend on something for me, right? And so I got it to 225,000 miles, and then I finally had to give up the Ghost. And now I'm driving a beautiful Nissan Sentra that sips gas. It's great. But it's a 2024, which means that I've got all of the technology, right? So I've got Apple CarPlay for my phone. And I plug in my iPhone, I open up the ESPN Wisconsin app, I hit listen live. I chose the Milwaukee stream. You could choose the Madison stream as well. You could choose the Beaver Dam stream. And I got crystal clear, beautiful audio of you guys playing trivia through my car, which is convenient, right? I don't have to put on headphones. I don't have I'm not tethered to my phone with my earphones with the cord, although I am now when I'm talking to you guys. It is really nice. So, like, again, it's free. It doesn't cost you a cent. There's no app purchases you have to make to be able to listen to the podcasts. It's totally free. It's totally customizable. This is an authentic. You need to download it if you love our shows, because it makes your life so much easier as compared to my efforts to get into Lambeau Field. All right, I'm passing a sign right now that says closed to through traffic. I'm ignoring it.
You're not through traffic. You're going somewhere.
I am. I most definitely am. I am approaching Lambeau Field. If I wasn't concerned about crashing my vehicle, I would try to do the video. I may have to tell this security guy.
Just channel your best play-by-play here, Jason. What are you seeing?
He's putting his hand up. Oh no, we got some building supplies that are coming through here. All right, now I'm going to have to schmooze this guy here. Hold on, you guys got to get this.
Jason Wilde currently driving to Lambeau Field, trying to schmooze a security guy.
So I need to go back here.
You have to wear that stand just turned.
Okay, thanks.
He sounded like a nice fella.
He was a little aggressive for my liking.
Of course he was.
But he says, turn back here. So I'm going back now. And here's an opening right here. He was waving his hands and gesticulating at a alarming amount. Like he was, now I'm going to talk to these guys. I think they're going to be friendlier. Please hold. How you doing today? We're going into the Fleet Farm gate, I'm told.
On the parking lot 9.
Oh, all the way down to 9?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
You are listening live
We're in the parking lot
to Jason Wilde en route to Lambeau Field.
How's the quality of radio entertainment there?
I'm not sure.
It's high. It's high for me because you interacting with people, trying to figure out your way to Lambeau. I'm having a good time. This is fun for me.
Wait a minute, now I've got another.
Now we got another issue.
Oh, we've encountered obstacle 3.
This is pretty unbelievable. Hey, I'm here for Goody's press conference. Am I parking in the right spot?
They were up to the right spot.
Through this muddy area here?
Well, there's spots up front, too.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. See?
3 levels of
So
security
many
for Jason
people.
to get to Lambeau Field. Can we get a 4th? Will there be a 4th blockade?
Yeah, there will be when I try to get into the building, I think. Very muddy in the parking lot, just so
Well, that's not shocking. I mean, it's been raining in Wisconsin for like the last 3 days.
Yeah, don't wear your nicest shoes. Don't get your car washed before you come in. But I do think, and all kidding aside, I do think that there's some value in this exercise because I hope fans are prepared. Because first of all, I am not going to be parking in this lot come draft day, and neither are you. No one is, right? It's going to be people way more important than us that are going to have parking passes. But you just heard, I had to go through 3 folks just to get to a very muddy parking lot. So if you're coming up for the draft, I think my first important piece of advice is allot extra time so you can get the lay of the land, like I have done today during our show. So it will be inconvenient, it'll be muddy, but I am on the campus of the NFL draft, and now I get to go ask Goody the tough softball questions that I'm constantly accused of asking by people on social media. Gabe, I'll say this: there are huge structures that have been built all around here. It is like and they got a lot of work to get done in the next couple of days, it would appear. There's people frantically moving about, moving plywood and particle board and driving around in various construction vehicles. It's going to be quite the scene, man. Are you ready for it?
I don't think I am. I will be by Thursday.
I
think I'll be ready by Thursday. Yeah, I don't think I am ready for what that's going to look like. I'm excited for it though, Jason, because this is a once in a lifetime event. We don't get in Wisconsin huge events all that often. We used to get golf events up at Whistling Straits. PGA was going there every 5 years, but I mean, I don't know the next one after the Ryder Cup, but that was a big international event. The Ryder Cup was, and it got tamped down because we were just coming out of the pandemic, and they didn't get as many people internationally as they thought. This is a literal once-in-a-lifetime event, and I hope people understand, yeah, you're going to have to, it's going to be a little bit more work getting through Green Bay, getting to where you want to go than a typical game day. But because it is this is the only time this is going to happen, I hope people take advantage, and I hope people enjoy it.
Well, I can't recommend enough all the stuff that's going to be going on around here. And you know why? Because it's free.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. Now, obviously, you're going to be buying souvenirs and food and everything. So it's not free. But, our old friend Homer loves free. Free is for me. Free is good. That'll be nice. Like, you can come and just take in all the pomp and circumstance, and it won't cost you a penny, at least if you can find free parking, which I don't think you're going to be able to do.
So,
Jesse, are you nervous about this at all? Because you're coming up here for one day, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to come up Thursday morning, help us all get going Thursday morning. Then I'm not actually even going to stay for round one Thursday night. I'm going to head back here to Madison and then be ready to go for the show Friday morning. And I'm okay with that. I feel like there are two distinct camps of Wisconsinites when it comes to the NFL draft. There is the one camp that's talking like Gabe just was. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This may never happen again for the state of Wisconsin, for the city of Green Bay. I need to be there and experience it in some form or fashion. And I felt that way too. Like, I didn't want to not be there at all. I wanted to say that I've been to the draft. I saw what the setup looks like. I was part of our, entire team experience. I'm okay not being there when the draft is actually happening at Thursday or Friday night. I'm okay avoiding the massive crowd, but I would like to be there and see it in full force. And then there's another crowd, like I was talking to my mom and dad over the weekend, and they live down in Muskego, and they want nothing to do with the NFL draft, and they want to stay far away from that crowd and the chaos and all the people and the massive amount of out-of-state people that are coming to visit. Like, they just want to stay away from it and let everybody do their thing. I feel like there's really no in-between. You either are in it for the once-in-a-lifetime experience or you want to stay the heck away from it as far as you can.
And then there's the media that is just like, I don't want to be inconvenienced. And there's nothing, in my opinion, that us, the media, can do that's more annoying, other than maybe giving your political opinions frequently, than complaining. Right? Oh, I had such a hassle getting into the parking lot. Well, I did that for comedic effect. I could have just sat and waited for this segment to end. But
also, I think it was a good exercise for people to know, hey, it's going to be a little bit different when you go up there. You're going to need a little bit of patience, the patience that Jason showed to eventually get to his final destination.
Exactly. So I look forward to the pomp and circumstance. It's going to be really cool to have this in Wisconsin. So I hope folks are able to attend if they want to. But I will be honest, the one thing that I'm focused on is, as I've told a lot of people who've been asking if I'm excited, hey, you know what? I'm just looking forward to figuring out how to get in the building and cover the picks, because I love the draft. I absolutely love the draft. I love all the anticipation of who are they going to pick. I love the once we know who they picked, learning more about each player and then telling their stories. Like, I love all that stuff. And the one thing about the draft that you have to remember is here, everything is the same inside Lambeau Field for the Packers scouting staff and for Goody as it would be if the draft was in Nashville or Detroit or Chicago or Las Vegas. That part doesn't change. So they'll still be in the same draft room. They'll still be going about their same process, and they'll just have the carnival that is the NFL draft right outside their window.
So, Jason, before you go to Brian Gutekunst's press conference here coming up at noon, this will be the last we hear from you on today's show. What is it that you have decided you are going to ask him?
So, can you hear me? It's very windy here now on top of everything else. So, as I make my way to the Fleet Farm gate. So one of the things that I think we need to get into, in addition to what we've discussed already, is how have things changed with the offensive and defensive systems as they try to figure out exactly how they want to draft players that fit what they do. And I know we got that text message earlier about the run game being different than it used to be with Josh Jacobs. So how does that change their mentality in terms of what kind of players fit what they do? Because let's be honest, Gabe, Aaron Banks was drafted in part because he's a big dude that can move and block in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he appealed to them as much as he did. So we've already seen it in free agency, and I want to get a feel for, the offense is evolving. You're in the second year of your defense. You went through one draft already, drafting for guys for a 4-3 system. How does that affect your approach this year? I'm trying to come up with some different stuff besides, is this the year that you end the streak of not drafting wide receivers in the first round?
What voice was that?
I'm not
That
sure.
was,
That's my bad question voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh.
That's the bad question voice. I get it.
You really are turning into Tausch today.
Don't ever say that again.
Probably a good time for us to go. Jason, enjoy Goody. I'm sure we'll hear from you all throughout the course of the day, and we'll break it all down tomorrow on the show as well. You and Tausch will both be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
He doesn't get to say that very often in a phone appearance on our show. Jason Wilde appearing on his own show as he heads over to Brian Gutekunst's press conference coming up at noon at Lambeau Field. Gabe, you're still here for one more segment, and this is something we don't get to do much on this show because usually we go to, Gabe Neitzel fills in half the time hosting the national show that's on at noon on ESPN Radio, Joe and Q, but we don't ever get to talk with the hosts of the show coming up at noon. Well, all this week, Alex Strofe is going to anchor coverage, special bonus coverage from Green Bay in the shadows of Lambeau Field, ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week. And Strofe joins us next to talk about the draft. That's coming up on Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Packers.
If they're not better this year,
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
there's going to be a lot of seats warming up.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here for Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes 2 ticket sweepstakes, which could get you a +1, a VIP trip to the ship. Download the app today and use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Madison Axe. Enjoy axe throwing, craft beers, bags, shuffleboarding, and more fun at Madison's state-of-the-art entertainment spot. Visit MadisonAxe.com or head to their location on Stoughton Road today. Wisconsin football losing players to the portal, including highly touted receiver Mark Hamper and tight end Tanner Koziel. Luke Fickell joining Wilde and Tausch, sharing his forward-thinking approach.
I don't want to find out on August 28th or September, whatever, in Tuscaloosa, that they don't really love what it is that they're doing. They aren't committed to their teammates. This is a little bit too much for them. I guess it's better that you find that out now so that you can continue to develop the people that you know deep down inside have it. They just haven't had the opportunity to be able to show it yet.
Everyone is talking about the draft, but you won't feel one from high-quality Pella Windows. Get no-interest financing options or free glass upgrades today at PellaWI.com.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable. Silverado. Adventurous, fun, techie. Trailblazer. Stylish, nimble.
Tracks.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. National and local awards proving Siding Unlimited will deliver peace of mind. Looking for inspiration to replace your windows, roofing, siding, and doors? Stop by our amazing showroom at 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. And definitely check out sidingunlimited.com. We are Siding Unlimited.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event,
Those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
We're on the Packers.
You still want to see that steady play, that steady improvement, and you didn't get it from Jordan Love?
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
That just makes the stakes that much higher this season.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
Going to be an exciting week here on ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison, ESPN Wisconsin, with all the different draft coverage that we've got going on. And a part of that coverage that we've got going on includes Mr. Irrelevant. Usually digital only, usually only 3 days a week. Not this week. Live and local all 5 days. Alex Strofe, you can see him up there right now if you're watching on YouTube, as he is at the Tundra Trio in the shadow of Lambeau Field. What's the scene up like there, Strophe?
Dude, it's crazy up here. So I was listening to Jason drive through the different security zones they have up here. I actually sprinted outside because there's one right outside of the Tundra Trio to see if Jason was going to, get down into fisticuffs with the security guard as he tries to make his way to Brian Gutekunst's press conference, but no dice. But yeah, man, I mean, there's fences everywhere, a lot of streets blocked off already here on Monday. It is quite the scene, but it's pretty awesome, right? I grew up in Green Bay, Gabe, as you know, and for this to be the epicenter of sports for the next couple of days is going to be really, really neat. So really looking forward to everything we've got going on this week.
Now, I know you were busy this morning getting ready for the show. Did you happen to hear Mark Chmura make fun of you on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning?
I did not hear it. What did my old pal Chewy have to say?
I mean, he called you the biggest toad at ESPN Wisconsin, that you're the biggest Packer toad out there. And we were talking about, Joshy and I are going to be up there later in the week. We're going to be staying at an Airbnb. You won't be. And he was worried about us staying in the same Airbnb with you because you might be staying up all night, kind of pestering us about draft questions, just getting too overexcited for the draft, answering the phone by saying, Alex Strofe, who's your favorite Packer? These are the things that Chewy made fun of you for.
That's fair. Now, number one, I do intend on crashing your Airbnb, so I might be keeping you up all night, and I apologize in advance for that.
No, you don't.
You're right. I don't at all. Now, do you agree with Chewy's evaluation? I mean, do you believe I am the biggest toad on ESPN Wisconsin? Because I don't fully disagree. I think there are other options, but I don't know if I'm number one.
No. If I were power ranking the toads on ESPN Wisconsin, number one's Tausch.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Power rankings, you say?
Yeah, go ahead, Gabe. Let's hear them, pal.
Power ranking the toads at ESPN Wisconsin. Number one, I am going to say, is Mark Tauscher. You're number two, though. I've got you at number two. Kyle is number three. He's close, but every once in a while he will have an anti-Packer take. But I mean, he eventually goes back. I would say Kyle is number three on the Packer toad ranking. Who would number four be?
Where does Joshy fall in?
Joshy's pretty level-headed, but I think Joshy might be four. Joshy might be number four on the list.
Matt Hamilton, I think, needs to be in the mix.
Matt, you know what? I would say Matt Hamilton is four, Joshy's five.
Yeah, I think that's a really good list. You know what? I'm happy being second in this scenario. I think I'm rational, but sometimes very irrational. And the irrationality party gets underway in just a few minutes, Gabe, because we are going to talk about, during the ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week Mr. Relevant coverage that starts at noon, the idea of drafting a wide receiver in the first round. I think I'm going to do it again. I think I'm going to fall for it again, Gabe.
Well, did you? Okay, so before you get your heart set on a wide receiver, did you hear Rob Demovsky on this very program earlier today? If anybody else missed it, download the ESPN Wisconsin app, go back and listen to Rob Demovsky, who joined us in hour 1 of today's show.
So I was in and out on that one as I was getting set up. I heard his spiel on Jair, which was really interesting, but I missed the draft thing. So go ahead, fill me in.
He does not believe, unless Ted McMillan is the pick, he does not believe the Packers are taking a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah, and that's probably fair. I think Ted McMillan, obviously, very rightfully so, is the top receiver that would be there at 23. Will he be there at 23 is the question. Probably not, but if he is,
my answer is
I
no.
think, yeah, probably not. But if he is, I think it's a no-brainer then. So we'll see. But Emeka Egbuka comes in for a visit. Matthew Golden comes in for a visit. They're doing a lot of research on top-end receivers in this draft, which is something they typically haven't done in years past. So that's why I think more than past years, I'm in on the idea of a first-round wide receiver. But we will see.
He is Alex Strofe. You can catch him coming up in just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes away from the start of Mr. Irrelevant ESPN Wisconsin Draft Week coverage. Coming up 2 minutes right here on ESPN Wisconsin.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are